Tobacco Company store in the Oak Brook Shopping Center. By the way, don't forget to call that number, tobacco, for your James Smithson cigars and for your 4 ounces of free pipe tobacco with every 4 ounces of pipe tobacco that you purchase. Dial Tobacco. Let's Talk Baseball has been brought to us tonight by the tobacco companies located in the Oak Brook Shopping Center and in Old Chicago and Bolingbrook, a presentation of WGN Sports. Vince Lloyd and Lou Boudreau. Lou has the leadoff man coming up in just a moment, and don't forget we'll be on the air with you tomorrow, 12:55 on WGN Radio Chicago.
How you doing, everybody? Lou Boudreau with the leadoff man from Busch Stadium in St. Louis, where the Cubs are hopeful of making it 2 in a row over the Cardinals here in St. Louis. Cubs now have won 6 in a row, looking for their number 7. The leadoff man is brought to you by Yale Insurance Agencies. We'll be talking to our guest, Coach Peanuts Lowry, in just one moment. You know, nobody should be without good auto insurance, and nobody has to be without it. If you call the Yale Insurance Agency at 427-6322. Now, why can Yale give you all the solid protection you need at a much lower cost, including all the discounts and benefits you're entitled to? Well, it's because Yale is the expert in good, low-cost auto insurance. They can produce the right policy at the right price through the finest companies in the business. And what's more, Yale offers such easy terms that you can pay as you drive. So call Yale now at 427-6322. That telephone number is 427-6322. Or see a qualified Yale counselor in your nearby community family discount store. You know it costs nothing to talk to a Yale man? It's for good low-cost auto insurance. Drive in the community or call Yale at 427-6322. That's Yale, the low-cost auto insurance people. Call Yale now, 427-6322. Peanuts Lowry is our guest, that veteran major leaguer, and coach now with the Chicago Cubs. And Peanuts, it looks like the Cubs are executing now. And when you execute, you win.
That's right. Lou, as you know, anytime you're winning, you're executing real good. When you're losing, everything goes bad. But this ball club we have here, now that the warm weather's come, and I'll tell you something, I'm really impressed with this ball club, Lou. We got a real good bench, which we didn't have last year. We've got some speed here, and we've got some a fellow like Fittner, who's sitting on a bench, who had a great year for us, and is a good hitter, and we got everything. And like I said, I'm really impressed with this ball club, and our pitching is been going real good, and as you know, our bullpen has been great.
I think that's been a surprise to all of us in baseball, is the pitching. Are you hopeful that it can hold up the entire year?
Well, so far, Lou, the way they've been pitching, I'm hopeful it will. And Suter, as you know, last year when he got hurt, it really hurt our ball club. But when you've got a Suter down there, that makes Hernandez and Ruschel and them other relief pitchers so much greater when they know they can go out there for 1 or 2 innings and they got a fellow like Suter sitting behind. He's some kind of pitcher, Lou. In all the years that I've been in baseball, this is my 29th year up here in the majors, and he's the best I've ever seen. I've seen a lot of them, and so have you.
I've got to agree with you 100%. He's been fantastic, and you would think major league hitters would adjust to that type of pitching because you've adjusted to different types of pitching. I've adjusted to different types of pitching, but they don't seem to adjust, and they cannot adjust properly.
That's right. It's amazing. As you know, when we played as a sinker ball pitcher or a screwball pitcher, we always moved up on the plate and lay off the low pitches. But this pitch that he's got must be fantastic. I would just love to have seen it up there myself trying to hit. So I know all the other managers have told their hitters move up on a plate, but then he still gets them out.
He's been fantastic. And one of the toughest and most important chores of a manager and coaches, pitching coach especially, is to handle a pitching. Now, you mentioned rest. You mentioned names of pitchers that haven't been used, so they are ready. So this is where a manager is very important.
Oh, real good. Oh, sure. I know our bullpen, they've rested up pretty good. Now, we haven't seen Ruschel out there for some time. And with that complete game yesterday, all our pitchers are rested. Herman didn't want to use Suter last night if he had to, but I don't believe he would have. But, you know, when you get a guy down like there, you want to bring him in. And another thing I'm impressed with our club is, you know, Mercer played center field for the Yankees. And I know last year in spring training, I talked to him, put him in center field. He says, oh, no, don't put me there. So I told Herman he doesn't want to play center field. And I'm amazed at the short time we've had him out there. He gets a better break in center field than he does in right field. And so yesterday, last night when we were going to put the Wallace out there in center field, we didn't take Kingman out because on his defense, Lou. We took Kingman out because he came to me, he says, Peanut, he says, let me hit this time. He says, but I don't feel too good. So that's when we made the switch. But Kingman has really improved. He made some plays, Lou, that you saw down in Los Angeles. It was unbelievable. He saved the game, and then he won it. But as you know, if it hadn't been for that little fella at shortstop by the name of Kelleher, we wouldn't have been out there. He made a super play to knock a ball down and save the winning run going across the plate. And he's some kind of player, Lou. He's one of the little best infielders that I've seen. Got good hands and can play any position out there. And I'm really impressed with him. Not only that, Lou, he's learned how to hit the ball through the middle. As you know, a small guy, you can't be up there pulling ball, trying to hit it out of the ballpark. He's going the other way. And if you recall, he led that, I think it was the 15th inning. He was a leadoff man off a road and hit a line shot to right field for base hit to start that inning off, and we went up to win it with Kingman hitting the home run.
This is what you mean in explaining what a bench really is important about. And everyone that's put in there by Herman has done his job.
Oh, certainly. As you know, when we put Little Mioli in there to pinch run at home when we were behind Philadelphia, Little Mioli scored all the way, scored from first base. And he's a good runner. And to have a fellow on a bench like that, and a fellow like Kelleher could feel, and a fellow like Wallace who can do the job out there, and then switch it from Gross and Klein. Hey, I'm really impressed with this club, Lou.
Let's hope that we can continue to execute some fine defensive plays. Now, you talked about Kingman. He saved the first run of the ball game last night with a leaping catch, and only his height and his leap saved that double. And if the Cardinals get out in front, who knows what'll happen?
Well, he's the only one that could have, on our whole club, could have caught that ball. He made a beautiful play on that.
This is what we need, and it certainly builds up not only the pitching, but it builds up the entire ball club, that if an individual like that can put out just a little extra, maybe I better put out a little extra. You know how it is when you play.
Well, Lou, he's changed some. Now he's a funny sort of a person when he first came here, because I believe it's because he wasn't going good. Now he's going good. He's talking to everybody, shaking everybody's hand, and this club is well balanced, and they all come to play, Lou. This club here is so coordinated. Everybody pulls for one another, and I know, like, Bittner'd like to play. He's always kind of mad, and I don't blame him. And Herman don't want any fellas, not only Herman, other players on the club don't want anybody sitting on your club or your bench that don't want to play. You want them all want to play, and this is good on a ball club, Lou.
Venus, thank you very much for a very fine interview. Venus Lowry was our guest. Say, do you know what's one of our great vanishing American assets? It's pure, fresh, unpolluted water. Think about that for a minute. People can do without many things, but not without drinking water. So it's good common sense to have the finest possible drinking water in your home. That's Mountain Valley drinking water. Doctors even recommend Mountain Valley water because it's pure spring water with no chemicals added. It's good for youngsters and oldsters, even babies. For over a century, people have journeyed to Hot Springs, Arkansas to drink pure Mountain Valley spring water. Now it's available bottled and delivered direct to your doorstep. For more information or to arrange delivery, call Mountain Valley at 569-2820. That's 569-2820. You like Mountain Valley water, it's good for you. This is Lou Boudreau, and this has been the Leadoff Man, brought to you by Yale Insurance Agencies. Stay tuned now for Vince Lloyd and tonight's ball game between the Cubs and the Cardinals. This has been a presentation of WGN Sports. This is WGN Radio, Chicago.
Summer. The sun scorches your car's finish. The overnight dew claws at it. Road cars nibble at it. Rain pocks it. Detergents slap at it. Birds abuse it. Grease bullies it. Yeah, summer is hard on your car. So now's the time to put something hard on your car. The hard shell finish of Turtle Wax.
Turtle Wax is the hard shell finish. Turtle Wax.
Anything summer throws against a turtle's back bounces off, especially sunlight. So let the elements be as nasty as they want. You've got the hard shell to shield you. And you brought your car to that sparkling luster in just 30 minutes. Because a turtle goes on so easy and stays on so hard. Any wonder the turtle is the world's best-selling name in auto waxes? Liquid or paste, the turtle brings your car back alive. Then seals out summer.
Turtle Wax gives the hard shell finish. Turtle Wax.
WGN Radio Chicago, the time of the tone will be 7 o'clock.
Chicago Cubs are on the air. Good evening, everybody, and welcome once again to exciting Major League Baseball from Busch Memorial Stadium in St. Louis. The Cubs and the Cardinals in Game 2 of the series. And a very good, tough right-hander, Bob Busch, warming up down the right field line. 28-year-old younger brother, Ken Busch of the Houston Astros, making his first appearance against the Cubs in this 1978 season. And despite the Cardinals' problems this year in picking up any wins, Busch with a half a dozen victories and could well have a couple more out of the total of 15 St. Louis Cardinal wins. He has authored a no-hitter. He also has a couple of other shutouts this year. Against him, the rookie right-hander for the Cubs, Dennis Lamp. I'm Vince Lloyd, and along with Lou Boudreau, we welcome you to our broadcast. Tonight's game from St. Louis is brought to you by True Value Hardware Stores. That's not just a name, it's their way of doing business. The G. Heilman Brewing Company of La Crosse, Wisconsin, makers of Old Style, the pure brewed beer from God's country. McDonald's, where you can buy a hot fudge, hot caramel, or strawberry sundae in a special reusable glass. And your Chicagoland Oldsmobile dealers. Find out how the gallant men of Olds can make car buying a pleasure for you. And by General Finance's 70 Chicagoland offices. To borrow up to $10,000, call friendly Bob Adams at Andover 3-2020. That's General Finance. We already had the playing of the national anthem here tonight. We had a rainfall in St. Louis this afternoon, so neither team took any batting practice. But the carpet is absolutely dry because they had the big tarp over it. In the outfield, however, it's going to be a little bit on the slick side for a while. We have a bit of a cool breeze blowing here tonight. And the Cardinals coming out of their dugout on the first base side being announced as they take their positions on the field and they turn on the lights. Our broadcast authorized under rights granted by the Chicago National League Ball Club, which has the right of approval of the announcers for this event. It's solely for the entertainment of our audience. Any publication, rebroadcast, or other use of the descriptions and accounts of the game without the express written consent of the Chicago National League Ball Club is prohibited. Busch, with an earned run average of 2.286 wins, 3 losses, has finished 5 out of his first 10 starts. Before DeJesus steps in against him, let's pause for this message.
General Finance, friendly Bob Adams.
Hello, Bob. Dick Snyder.
Hi, Dick.
Vacation time is here again, Bob, so...
Another vacation loan.
Uh-huh.
Where are you and the wife going this year, Dick?
Well, Bob, as you know, we don't care much for do-nothing vacations.
Right, which is why you spent last summer...
Dredging irrigation ditches in Guatemala.
Right.
And this year, Bob, our vacation is taking us to exotic Papua.
For a little surfing sunshine.
No, we're filling sandbags. Lake Papua has to be dammed up again.
Dick, wouldn't your wife enjoy a cruise ship for a change?
Oh, next year, Bob, the SS Wendell.
Oh, great.
Yeah, we're going to raise it from the icy depths of the Kalumba Sea.
I'll get started on your vacation loan.
Thanks, Bob.
When you need financial assistance, General Finance has a plan to fit your needs.
Find out why it makes sense to call General Finance for their person-to-person Bob Adams service. General Finance has the professional experience and the particular plan for your particular needs. There are 70 General Finance Chicago area offices. Call friendly Bob Adams to borrow up to $10,000. Call Andover 3-2020. Also an office in major downstate cities.
Ivan DeJesus to lead off, and the rest of the Cub batting order tonight will have Greg Gross batting in the number 2 spot out in center field with Bill Buckner at first base hitting third. Dave Kingman in left field batting cleanup. Bobby Mercer in right field tonight hitting fifth. Played in center last night. Gene Klein's in right. Manny Trio at second base. He starts tonight's action with an 8-game hitting streak. Steve Olivares at third base. Dave Rader doing the catching, and he drove in 4 runs last night against the Cards. Dennis Lamp, the pitcher, record of 1-4. Plate umpire, Paul Runge, who was absent from last night's ball game. Ted Simmons looks down to give that sign to Force, the tall, lean, veteran right-hander. Won 20 ball games last year, lost only 7. 2 of those wins came at the expense of the Cubs. He did not lose to the Cubs last year. DeJesus 0 for 4 last night, hitting .252. Steps in, the windup, first pitch by Force. Swing and a tap foul just to the left of the plate. Gary Dale umpiring at first base. John McSherry is at second, and Bob Engel, who called the balls and strikes last night, working at third. Busch in the windup. Here's the pitch. Ivan takes a breaking ball, a little bit low. Ball 1, strike 1. Boston on Jimmy Rice's home run today defeated the Detroit Tigers 1-0. Wind up the pitch. Fastball misses away. 2-1. In Chicago, bad news again for the White Sox. They lost their 6th consecutive ball game. In extra innings, Oakland defeating the Sox today 4-3. 2-1 delivery. Swung out, a bouncing ball charging into Stapleton, the shortstop. Here's carries over the top curl. In time to Hernandez. Rounder short brings up Greg Gross, getting .324 with a homer and 14 runs batted in, and 5 triples. In the last 12 games that Gross has started, he has hit safely in each one of them. And over that span, these are the games that he has started. He's hit at a .396 clip with 19 hits and 48 at-bats. Left-hander, of course. Busch's first pitch. Breaking ball down a little low, ball 1. Oakland victory this afternoon means the A's now have won 7 out of their last 19, coming out of their skid a little bit at the expense of the White Sox. Busch in the windup, and there's a strike called. Cookie Rojas coaching at first base. Joe Malfitano in the coach's box at third, and the carpet really looks wet out there. Some water in the warning track in the outfield. 1-1 delivery. Fastball. Lays off, and it's a little high and away. Ball 2, strike 1. Kansas City, Minnesota again running into rain. Toronto defeated the Yankees today 4-1. And Cleveland defeated Baltimore. The Indians winning 6-2 over the Orioles. Curveball by Force. Strike on the inside corner call. Ball 2, strike 1. The Dodgers evened up their series with San Francisco. Los Angeles winning out at Candlestick Park today, 3-1. Here's a swing and a high fly ball to the center fielder, Gary Mumphrey, moving over to his right, has a lot of time, makes the catch handily, and there are 2 away in the first inning. That brings up Bill Buckner. 2 for 5 in last night's ball game, and he steps in hitting .339. A homer and 13 runs batted in for the Cub left-handed hitting first baseman. Hit safely in 11 out of his last 12 ball games. Paul Runge inspecting his bats down there. And Buck is going to have to go back and get another piece of lumber. Busch, oddly enough, boy, he could have a record like about 8-1, 8-0. This guy, in his last 21 innings of work, has allowed only 2 earned runs. And somehow, he has managed a loss in there, a no decision. That was a game in which he had to leave at San Diego with a lead because of a pulled hamstring. And the bullpen just could not hold on to the lead. He wound up with no decision in that one. But he's been pitching superbly. Earned run average, as I mentioned earlier, 2.28 in 5 complete games and 10 starts, including a no-hitter. Buckner in with another piece of wood. This one cleaned off. The other one had an awful lot of tar on it, or pitch. And there's a breaking ball in for a strike. Deep just beyond the outfield stripe on the carpet, second baseman Mike Phillips. Busch's next pitch, a curveball, swung on it. He hits it to Phillips, comes in a step, over to his right. Makes the pick up in the play easily, and the Cubs go down meekly in the first inning against Busch. Dennis Lamp out to the hill, rookie with 1 win this year, and that was a complete game shutout against the New York Mets. He's lost 4. He'll be facing Gary Templeton, Jim Dwyer, and Kenny Reese. And after a half inning at St. Louis, no score.
Now, True Value hardware stores can help make your home workshop more complete and efficient with a wide selection of Master Mechanic hand tools and accessories, like their Master Mechanic 49-piece socket set with a 1/4, 3/8, and a 1/2-inch drive sizes and enough sockets to handle most home and auto needs for just $49.99. Or choose the 6-piece tune-up toolkit for just $14.50. It lets you change spark plugs, adjust spark plug gaps, and more. And to help you keep tools and parts in place, True Value hardware stores offer the Master Mechanic 19-inch hip roof toolbox for just $8.99. It has a fitted tote tray for small tools and parts, and an extra capacity hip roof for greater tool storage. See Master Mechanic hand tools and accessories exclusively at participating True Value hardware stores.
Dennis has earned run average, and this is first full year with the Cubs, 4.17. That's a little bit on the high side. Dropped 4 decisions, as I mentioned, 1 victory, and that was a shutout. Going the distance over the New York Mets. It was his first major league win. Started 8 times, completed 1 ball game. And he had to leave against these Cardinals. His last outing last weekend in Chicago. When he came to bat, he tried to sacrifice, and he fouled a pitch. Came off the bat and hit him on the top of the right shoulder, and he suffered a bruise. So only worked 2 innings, had given up just a hit. No runs, no walks, no strikeouts. Big, tall right-hander pumps a fastball into Gary Templeton, and the sophomore shortstop takes it a little bit low for ball 1. Templeton hitting .220 for the year with 8 runs batted in. Looks at a strike just above the knees on the inside corner. He's a switch hitter, batting lefty. From Chicago, Coach Jack Kroll at third base for the Cardinals. Lamp delivers another strike call over the inside corner. He thought that one was going to be inside. And Sonny Roberto in the coach's box over at first base to wind up the pitch. Fastball. Perhaps a little foul behind the plate. Kingman, Gross, and Mercer in the outfield in left, center, and right. And Peanut Flowery trying to get the attention, I believe, of Kingman. They want him in at several steps for Templeton. They finally bring him in. Here's the windup to deliver. Swung on and missed strike 3. Doesn't make any difference where he played him. Ball wound up in Raiders' mitt. So Dennis with a strikeout to open up the bottom of the first inning, and now he faces Jimmy Dwyer. Replaced Brock in left field last night, and again tonight. Brock has just not been hitting. Jimmy hitting .255 for the year, has a homer and 2 runs batted in. Last night he was 1 for 4 against Dave Roberts. His batting average and Brock's is the same, .255. Lamp, a big, rugged kid. Waits till the batter settled. Now the windup, and he takes the first pitch, a strike, a fastball. He was taking all the way. Buckner about 8-9 feet off the line on the first base side of the infield. DeJesus is very deep right at the outfield stripe and shading Dwyer up the middle. He takes a swing at that one and fouls the fastball back out of play. Lou Lamp is very quick with that fastball sometimes, isn't he?
Oh, yeah. He should be strong out there tonight, and perhaps that ball will not break as much as it's normal, but after an inning or two, the ball will start sinking.
There's the mustache, peers down, waiting for Dwyer to get resettled in there with that straightaway stance, the red Cardinal shoes. Red short sleeve shirt under the white home uniform. Here's the windup in the pitch to him, and he swings, bounces one to Manny. Trios right. Trios up with it. Sidearm toss over to Buckner. Retires him easily. No base runners here yet in the ball game for either side, and Kenny Reach stepping in. He was 1 for 3 last night. Right-hander hitting .252 is 4 homers. He swings out in front of the inside pitch and rips it foul down the left field line into the box seats about 3 rows back. And he cracked his bat on that one. While he's getting some new lumber, let me ask you, what Cub fan could resist 72 pages, 8 pages more this year, of biographies and statistics of everybody on the ball club, including all of the new players? Well, my friends, you'll get that and a whole lot more in the Cubs 1978 roster book. Just send $1 to roster book, Wrigley Field, Chicago, 60613. You will need to enclose an additional 25 cents for postage and handling. Message furnished by the Chicago Cubs. Lamp had started the windup, but Reach asked for and got time from Paul Runge. He hadn't quite gotten himself settled to his satisfaction. Now we're ready. Flips the bat right at the knob. Here's the windup, and Lamp stick to him. Swung on. He gets under the fastball and hits a high foul. It's going to be behind the Cub dugout. George Mitterwald flew in from Orlando, Florida, and is now an official member of the ball club. Veteran catcher, as we told you a couple of days ago, has been signed by General Manager Bob Kennedy to a bullpen coaches and batting practice coaches contract. There's a fastball, and he knocks him down on the 0-2 pitch. Came up and in. Ball 1, strike 2. Dennis Wines, here's the delivery. Swung on, a base hit right past him. Lamp thought for a moment would be able to get that in his glove, but he couldn't do it. Well, Reach, after being knocked down, gets back in there and almost knocked down Lamp with a single. He's the first base runner of the night. And it brings up Ted Simmons. That left-handed. Reach last night hit down in the number 6 spot in the batting order. Now he keeps the first inning alive for Simmons. The veteran catcher takes, and there's a fastball too high for ball 1. Simmons is batting .314 with 4 homers, the same as Reach. 22 runs batted in. Reach with 24 leads the Cardinals. Simmons next, and then Hernandez is in the on-deck circle as 21. 1-0 delivery with a man on, and he takes the fastball high and outside. It's 2-0. Buckner is not holding Reach on. You don't figure to send him. He doesn't have that kind of speed, and you want your cleanup hitter to get a chance to drive him in if he can. No score, bottom of the first inning. Lamp from the stretch. There's a swing and a bouncing ball. Buckner dives to his right. He's got it. Comes to his feet. Comes over to the bag, and there's an unassisted put out. If he had been holding that runner on, of course, that ball would have been in the right field for a hit. As it is, the side is retired. No runs, 1 hit, 1 man left in the bases, and at the end of 1 full inning of play at St. Louis, the Cubs will send Kingman, Mercer, and Trio against Bob Busch. No score.
You know, there's one kind of ball player a manager really likes to have around, and that's the guy who's consistent. He's there every day making the plays and getting the hits. Well, that's the kind of consistency you get with Heilman's old-style beer. You always know you're going to get the same great flavor from bottle to bottle, can to can, case in and case out. The reason? The folks at G. Heilman Brewing Company are consistently fussy about what goes into this great light beer. They select only the choicest hops, the finest grains, and they believe only sparkling, pure Wisconsin spring water is good enough for old style. Water that flows from deep beneath the ground. Some folks say all the way from Canada. And when it comes to brewing, they still brew old style, the old world way. In fact, old style is one American premium beer that is still fully krausen, naturally carbonated in the old world way, which means it's pure brewed, double brewed. Next time, try the beer that tastes great consistently. Try old style, pure brewed in God's country.
Montreal taking a 6-1 lead over the Pittsburgh Pirates. Bottom of the third at Pittsburgh. And the Expos, along of the Philadelphia Phillies start the action tonight in the National League, trailing the Cubs by 2.5 games, with Pittsburgh 4 away, the New York Mets 4.5, and these Cardinals 9 games out. Giants, with their win last night, sparked by the big bat of Willie McCovey, brought down the house a couple of standing ovations, drove in 5 runs, a couple of them with his 497th career home run, to lead the Giants to the victory before a big turnout at San Francisco's Candlestick Park of well more, over 46,000 fans. That was last night. And the Giants started the action today, leading Cincinnati by a game and a half. The Dodgers by 2.5. Kingman, first pitch to him, swung on a miss for a strike. And the Dodgers knocked off San Francisco today 3-1. And Cincinnati playing later at San Diego. Wind up the pitch. Comes over the top with a breaking ball. It's outside. Ball 1, strike 1. Bob Busch. Very tough pitcher. 2-0 against the Cubs a year ago. Wind up. And a curveball inside. Kingman wouldn't go after it. They have Templeton only about 15 feet off the third baseline. Reaches about 3 or 4 feet off. The second baseman, Mike Phillips, is over on the first base side of the infield. And Hernandez about 15 feet off the line. The outfield shifted around, but not nearly like the outfield shift that the Phillies terrific at Kingman. He takes that one, and it's a strike call. Might have been a slider. Wind up by Busch. Kingman swings. He's out front, ripped a drive foul over the heads of the Cub bullpen crew, down into the seats way down the left field line. It is not an easy ballpark in which to hit homers unless you can really pull the ball. It's only 330 down the line. But when you get to the power alleys here, it's 386 feet. And then it extends out in straightaway center to 414 feet. I'd say, Lou, this has got to be as tough a park as there is in the National League in which to hit homers.
Yes, power alleys are very deep.
Here comes an inside fastball. And it grazed the bat of Kingman, went foul. He couldn't get out of the way of that one in time.
In Wrigley Field, when it says 386, it cuts across at a sharper angle. This has a little semicircle design to the... In fact, it is a semicircle in that outfield.
Yeah. It's a long, long way to reach those bleacher seats under the scoreboards in left and right center field. Straightaway center, vacant area, and they have a very fine background. The dark green wall there, and the vacant seats behind it, and then another high dark green fence that has an awful lot of black in it. Now the windup of the pitch, and he swings and misses, lunging out across the plate, trying to reach that one. Fastball away. Bob Busch, his first strikeout of the night. He has retired the first 4 Cubs, and now that outfield shifts around for Bobby Mercer. Last night came out of his slump. He had gone 0 for 15 at the plate. And he came up with a couple of hits, including a double, and drove in a run. His 19th of the year. Mercer, batting .257, has a couple of homers. His wife is here to watch the action down at St. Louis. He takes. And Busch misses with a fastball a little high. Ball 1. Humphrey playing him into right center field. Phillips just beyond the outfield stripe in the carpet. Hernandez still doing a few toe touches down there, keeping loose. Here's the pitch. Swung on, came into him, and he fouled it back out of play. Larry Parrish homered in the second inning for Montreal with a man on. That gives the Montreal Expos third baseman his 4th home run of the year. And the Expos are leading at Pittsburgh 6-1 in the 4th. No score, bottom of the second inning in the Philadelphia-Atlanta ball game. Busch in the windup, and Mercer looks at a strike knee-high away. Ball 1, strike 2. He was not exactly charmed with Paul Runge's call on that one. Dane Org, the young right fielder, deep guarding the line. Morales is sitting this one out. No score. They have one hit, a single by Kenny Reitz right up the middle. The Cubs have had the first 4 batters retired here tonight by 28-year-old Bob Busch. Now we're ready. Here's the windup in the pitch. It's too high. Ball 2, strike 2. Templeton has on his hips at shortstop, just in front of the outfield stripe on that carpet. And that Far out stripe indicates where the outfield grass would start if they had any grass. Here's the swing, and he goes after that curve, fouls it way down the left field line out of play. So the count on Mercer, ball 2, strike 2. We'll be here tomorrow afternoon. And our Chicago broadcast will get started at 12:55. Our network airtime tomorrow at 10 minutes after 1. Busch didn't like the feel of that ball, and then he gets another one from Paul Runge. John Denny, another tough right-hander, has won 4, lost 2. He and Busch have 10 of the total Cardinal victories out of their 15. And Ray Burris is scheduled to go against John Denny here tomorrow. Kenny Boyer is committed to a 4-man pitching rotation. Comes over the top with a breaking pitch. It's swung on and fouled back into the mezzanine level behind the plate. It is still 2-2. Vince Lloyd and Lou Boudreau reporting here from Busch Memorial Stadium. It's a little bit cooler night than we had last night. Looking out down the left field foul line and over the top of the beautiful ballpark, see one of the tall downtown office buildings, and just beyond that, a part of the famed arch. Some say is the world's largest croquet wicket. The let-up swung on at a high fly ball to the left fielder. Dwyer was fooled. Now he comes in and to his right, and he makes that catch easily. Mercer going the opposite way. There are 2 gone. We have not had a base runner yet, and Manny Trio stepping in. He has an 8-game hitting streak. Last night had 1 hit in 4 trips. He stepped in at .281 batter for the year with a pair of homers on successive days in Chicago against the Phillies, and has driven in 19 runs for the year, 8 of them over that 8-game hitting streak. Right-hander. And Manny takes the first pitch, a strike call away from him just above the knees. In that 8-game span, he has pounded out 31 hits and a .419 batting average. Busch in the windup. Fastball. It's in there. Let her high away. 0-2. Busch rarely gets behind. And he has good stuff. Trio steps out of the batter's box for a moment. Busch, a very intense-looking individual. He was deep in concentration in the clubhouse prior to the game tonight. 0-2 delivery. Fastball that's outside. Ball 1, strike 2. Trying to stop the Cardinal skid. Beyond Busch and John Denny, Kenny Boyer does not have any experience in his starting rotation. 1-2 pitch. Way outside. Ball 2, strike 2. Boyer was telling me he was surprised when he got to studying his pitching roster how young so many of the pitchers are, like John Urea. Pete Falcone had started last night, just 24. Mark Littell, he's brought out of the bullpen against the Cubs 3 times already this year. Still very young. Here's a swing, and Trio grounds one to the second baseman, Mike Phillips. He's up with it. Backhanded grab made by Hernandez to retire the Cubs in order in the second inning. And Busch has been perfect. The Cardinals come to bat against Dennis Lamp. Hernandez is to lead off, to be followed by Dana Orge, and then Jerry Bumphrey, and there's no score.
Did you ever see a Sunday smile?
No, but I once saw a glass bowl. That's a Sunday smile. It's glass.
Great taste. Now you can buy a McDonald's sundae in a reusable glass.
What a value.
Offer expires June 4th at participating McDonald's.
McDonald's sundaes will make you smile.
I had a strawberry sundae, and I smiled. I really smiled. We want to get you smiling.
McDonald's is serving sundaes. Vanilla swirls covered with hot fudge, strawberry, or caramel.
You're the one.
Arnold, you're really smiling.
So I'm smiling.
But Arnold, you've never done that before.
Well, you never bought me a McDonald's sundae before.
McDonald's, you're smiling. We got a smile for you.
Out last night's ball game. Young first baseman, a left-handed hitter, batting .296 for the year with 3 homers and 21 runs batted in. Young, slender Californian. To be followed by Dane Orge playing in right field tonight with Morales bench. Oakland, the winner over the Sox today, 4-3, and they'll be playing at Sox Park again tomorrow afternoon as the Sox try to capture game there. It'll end their losing streak. Now the windup by Dennis, and the first pitch is into the dirt, backhanded by Rader. Ball one. Here's the windup, the pitch. Low and inside again. Ball two. Our ticker service, which is supposed to provide us up-to-date reports on all of the action in the major leagues, has not been functioning here at St. Louis, and it isn't tonight. Hernandez, a little anxious on that pitch, swung and missed. Down and in with a fastball to him. We get absolutely nothing from it. So we rely on the scores here and the scoreboard that they have up over the right field bleachers. There's a fastball that's in for a strike, 2-2. And also on homers from our studios. 2-2 pitch. Fastball, strike, free call. He barely caught the inside corner to Belt with a fastball that you could hear whack into the mid of Dave Rader, well up here in the press box. Up behind, and then pumped 3 of them by him. That gives Dennis his second strikeout of the ball game. And Dane Orge came in as a pinch hitter last night, failed to reach steps in, a young left-handed hitter. Been at bat only 28 times this year for St. Louis with 5 hits. No homers, 1 run batted in. He swings, bounces one down to Buckner, skips off that edge of the carpet, right into his glove, and he comes up the line, wins the race for an unassisted putout. Orge going after the first pitch. Base is empty, 2 gone, no score. Cardinals batting in the bottom of the second inning. And Jerry Mumphrey has been battling a slump. Hit well in the 280s last year, but so far this season, he, like the Cubs' Steve Olivares, is struggling with a batting average. Mumphrey batting only 169, was 0 for 2 in last night's game against Dave Roberts. First pitch to him, a strike call, a breaking ball. Batted in 8 runs, doesn't have a homer. Straightaway stance, here's the pitch. Lets up on it, he bounces it down to Buckner behind the bag at first, lamp off of the hill, and he takes the throw perfectly to retire St. Louis in a hurry. 3 up and 3 down. So St. Louis has 1 hit after 2. The Cubs coming to bat have had their first 6 men retired. So it's a pitching battle so far between the rookie, Dennis Lamp of the Cubs, and the veteran Bob Busch of the Cardinals, with the score 0-0.
The gallant and the bold, we make car buying a pleasure again.
Alice, is that a new Olds you drove up in?
Please, it's a Cutlass Brougham. After that miserable winter, it was a pleasure for Harry and me to get out and buy a new car.
Car buying a pleasure? We went to see the gallant men of Olds. You won't believe it, but we actually enjoyed buying the car. They were so warm and friendly. I said to Harry while we were in the showroom, these guys are warm and friendly.
I love that blue.
They've got a terrific spring selection of colors and options.
Well, car buying still leaves my husband cold.
Tell him to visit an Olds showroom.
He'll like the warm atmosphere.
Visit your Chicagoland Oldsmobile dealer today. Find out how we can make car buying a pleasure for you.
The gallant and the bold, we make car buying a pleasure again. The gallant and the bold, we make car buying a pleasure again. The gallant and the bold, we make...
Before Steve Olivares steps in, let's pause for station identification. This is the WGN Chicago Cubs Baseball Network.
This is WGN Radio, Chicago.
Vince Lloyd and Lou Boudreau here at Busch Memorial Stadium in a pitcher's battle so far. Lou, come on in.
Thank you, Vance. Taveras will lead off for the Cubs, followed by Rader and then Lamp. Busch has retired 6 straight Cubs. Big right-hander on the mound gets his sign from Simmons. The wind-up and first pitch, Don Taveras. Swinging a pop-up back to third base. Reach is there, Templeton is there, but Reach calls for it in foul territory and grabs it for the out. Now here's Rader, who should get and deserve a lot of credit for the Cubs' victories and where they are in the standings on top. And especially against the Cardinals. Rader, a former Cardinal, knows these Cardinals quite well. And I think it's paid off for the Cubs pitching. His hitting, he drove in 4 runs last night. He has a total of 12. He had a total of 16 for the Cardinals in 1977. First pitch is outside, ball 1. He's hitting .242 with 1 home run, 12 RBIs. And he's given the Cubs that sock behind the plate, which they sorely needed. The pitch, curveball low. But not only at the plate, but he's handled the Cubs pitchers tremendously well against all comers, and especially the Cardinals. And the Cubs' record has showed that. Here's a swing, ground ball, fair ball. Over the bag, down the first base line. Rader's going to go for 2. Here's Ford's throw in the second, too late. Rader's in there with a double. The first hit of Ford is a double by Rader. His 6th of the season. And he just loves hitting against his former teammate. That is the first hit of Ford. Now here's Lamp. 1 out, and at second base, Hernandez playing for a bunt at first. Lamp hitting .200. 3 hits, 15 times at bat. And Hotel sends regards to all his friends in and around the country. Doing a great job with the Park Chase Hotel. First pitch, high, ball 1. And a lot of Cub fans, when they visit St. Louis, stay right there. One ball to Lamb. Busch checks Rader. Here's the pitch. Fastball, swinging a tap to the pitcher's left. He has it. Wheels, turns, forces Rader to go to second base, and then turns and throws to Hernandez for the out. Rader was smart and not trying to advance. He's just as good on second base with 2 outs as he would be taking the chance of reaching third and being thrown out. Now here's the Jesus, routed out to the shortstop. First time at bat. No score. This is the way last night's game started off until the Cubs reached Falcone for 3 runs in the 4th inning. It added 3 more in the 6th. And that was it. 6-0 Cubs. The stretch, the pitch. High, fastball, ball 1. Busch on the mound, checking Rader at second base. Now into the stretch. The ball 1 pitch. Curveball high. Ball 2. Malpatano coaching at third. Cookie Rojas coaching at first. Cardinals played the Jesus straight away. Deep in all positions. Infielders know they have to knock this ball down to prevent it from going to the outfield. First baseman Hernandez moved in on that particular pitch, and the ball is high, ball 3. 3-0 on to Jesus. Gross due up next. Now the stretch by Busch. The pitch by Busch is strike call. And Jesus shakes his head. No, it was not a strike. It was high. But Runge is the plate umpire. He was not here last night. He's the plate umpire tonight. Dale is at first. McSherry at second, and Engel at third. Ball 3, strike 1 to count. 2 outs, Rader at second base. Here's Busch's pitch. Strike call over the outside corner. Full count now, 3-2. Busch does not want to walk to Jesus, with Gross coming up next. We have the count of 3-0, and now the count runs to 3-2. Rader with a good lead at second base. Here's the 3-2 pitch to Jesus. Curveball. Outside, just missing. Jesus was fooled with the curveball. but it missed the plate. He walked. First walk issued by Force, and now here's Gross at bat. Flied out to Mumphrey in center field in the first inning. No score. Cubs have beaten the Cardinals 4 times thus far this year, 3 times in Wrigley Field, and last night 6-0 victory. Gross takes high, ball 1. Force having a little trouble with control. Montreal pouring it on Pittsburgh. It's now 9-1. Pittsburgh batting in the 4th inning. 1 ball pitch, high, ball 2. Simmons calls time, wants to have a chat with Force to sort of calm him down as he's lost his radar. Can't find that plate. After Ontiveros popped out to reach in foul territory to open up this inning, the 3rd, Rader doubled just inside the first base line. And then Lamp grounded back to Force and was thrown out, Rader holding second. De Jesus on a 3-2 curveball took it outside for a ball. He's on first base. And now the first 2 pitches to Gross were high inside. Simmons back into his catching position. Force is ready, looks back at Rader at second. Here's the pitch. Fastball over the outside corner for a strike. 2-1 as Gross was taking all the way. He won't be taking this one if it's reachable. Reach deep at third, Templeton deep at short. The pitch. Fastball swing, a ground ball through the middle of the diamond. Into center field for a base hit. Rader will score. There goes De Jesus to third. The Cubs lead 1-0 as Gross continues to swing a hot bat. Drives in his 15th run of the season. And it moves De Jesus to third base. The Cubs have a 1-0 lead with Buckner at bat. Runners at first and third. With ducks on the pond, Gross is one of the best hitters in the clutch, along with this man, Buckner, stepping in the batter's box right now. They make contact. Here's Force's first pitch to Buckner. Curveball into the dirt, gets away from the catcher. Here comes De Jesus. He strides, he is safe. And let me tell you, Force cut across in front of De Jesus. He had to slow up for just a second and go around the pitcher, Force, and he still slid into the plate safely. That would have been quite a call had De Jesus collided with Force. The fielder has to give way and give that runner an opportunity to pass. We'd have had quite an argument on our hands, but he scores, and it's 2-0 Cubs. On the wild pitch by Force. Gross advances to second. The pitch to Buckner, curveball hit to the shortstop. Templeton has it. Fires to first, he's out. So the Cubs in the 3rd inning score 2 runs on 2 hits. 1 wild pitch in the inning. 1 man left on base. With the Cardinals coming to bat in the 3rd inning, Cubs 2, Cardinals nothing.
You can avoid the ups and downs that you see in your gas bill throughout the year. Just get on the People's Gas Budget Payment Plan. Here's how the plan works to help you spread your gas costs evenly over 12 months. First, People's Gas will project your gas costs from the time you join the plan now till May or June of next year. Then we'll divide this total projected annual cost into equal monthly payments. You'll know what to allow in your budget each month for gas from now on, and you'll achieve a sensible balance between the high bills of the heating season and the low bills of the warm months. To get on the budget payment plan for the 78-79 season, call People's Gas at 431-7000 anytime from 8:15 a.m. to midnight, Tuesday through Friday. That number again is 431-7000. Join now, and you'll have a full 12 months in which to spread your annual gas costs into the smallest monthly payments possible.
Dennis Lamp and the Cubs enjoying a 2-0 lead now. Lamp will face Phillips, then Force, the top of the order. At the end of 3 innings of play, Philadelphia 1, Atlanta 1. At the end of 3 innings of play, Montreal 9, Pittsburgh 1. Los Angeles defeated San Francisco this afternoon 3-1. A 2-hitter by the combination pitching of Hooten and Forrester. In the American League, the White Sox lost a tough one in 10 innings, 4-3 to Oakland. Toronto 4, New York Yankees 1. Cleveland beat Baltimore 6-2. Boston on Rice's 17th home run of the season defeated Detroit 1-0. Seattle will be at Texas tonight. Milwaukee at California. That brings you up to date on all the scores on the scoreboard. Right here, it's Cubs 2, hoping to make it 7 in a row. Cardinals nothing. Phillips steps in the batter's box, hitting .360 with no home runs, 2 RBI. Left-handed hitter. Lamp into the windup, first pitch. Fastball high, ball 1. The pitch by Lamp. Strike called, a good fastball. 1-1 to count. Phillips playing second base tonight. He swings and taps that ball foul. Mike Phillips. Cardinals obtained Phillips' contract from the New York Mets. Swing, a line drive, and Trio running to his left. Reaches out and gloves it, robbing Phillips of a base hit. A very fine play by Trio at second base. The ball was hit about head high. Couldn't dive, but on the run, he reached out as far as he could to glove it for the out. Here's Force. Batting .250, 3 RBI. First pitch, high inside, ball 1. Dennis Lamp into the windup, the kick, the pitch is a fastball, a swing and a pop-up, short right center, dropping quickly, it's in there for a base hit. Both Gross and Mercer, seeing that ball was like a dying quail as it was coming straight down, did not make an attempt to catch it, but they did prevent it from bouncing over their heads. It's a Texas League single for Force. The second hit off Lamp. Here's Templeton at bat. Had both Gross and Mercer attempted to catch that play, the ball would have bounced over their heads. The pitch. Swinging a ground ball to Trio's left. He has it. Turns. Fires to Jesus. To Force at second base. The Cubs were smart enough to take only one. They did not attempt the double play. So Templeton is on first now with 2 outs and the tying run at the plate in the person of Dwyer. Jim Dwyer grounded out the Trio in the first inning. Cubs scoring 2 1/3, lead the Cardinals 2-0. The stretch by Lamp throws the first. Templeton was right near the bag, so he just put a foot on it safely. Now Lamp sets the pitch. Outside, ball 1. There are 2 outs here in the third inning. Templeton with a short lead at first base. The pitch. Dwyer takes high, ball 2. Rader jumps out in front of the plate, yells something to Lamp. He doesn't want to pitch from behind too often, get into a lot of trouble. The stretch by Lamp. The pitch by Lamp. There goes Templeton. Strike called. Throw to second base is too late. Templeton steals second base. That's his 5th stolen base of the season. Only Brock with 7 has more than Templeton. A lot of ability that youngster has. Not only defensively, but offensively. He's on second base with a count of ball 2, strike 1 to Dwyer. The pitch by Lamp, swinging a fly ball to center field. It should be easy for Gross. He's under it, waits for it to come down. He squeezes it for the out. Third inning, no runs, 1 hit. 1 man left on base. So the stolen base goes for naught. So at the end of 3 complete innings of play, Cubs 2, Cardinals nothing.
General Finance, friendly Bob Adams.
Bob, it's Bruce Russell, and I'm ready to go with an auto loan.
Good. We'll be happy to arrange it.
You know, Bob, a lot of guys buy on impulse, but I shop around, you know.
Well, you should. A car is an important decision.
Took my time, gave it a lot of thought, and I know exactly what I want.
What are you getting?
I'm getting the 2-tone headrest, ashtrays front and back, and fully upholstered trunk.
I meant, what kind of car are you buying?
Bob, next time you see me, I'll be driving a sporty DeSoto runabout.
Bruce, I don't think they make that car anymore.
My second choice is the ever-popular Packard Coupe.
Bruce, I hate to say this, but...
Automobile?
No.
Broadway Limited?
That's a train.
Well, let me look through this World's Fair catalog again. Pierce Arrow, Nash Rose.
When you need financial assistance, General Finance has a plan to fit your needs.
Find out why it makes sense to call General Finance for their person-to-person Bob Adams service. General Finance is the professional experience and the particular plan for your particular needs. There are 70 General Finance Chicago area offices. Call friendly Bob Adams to borrow up to $10,000. Call Landover 3-2020. Remember, they also have an office in Addison.
Now we're moving along to the 4th inning of play. And Kingman will lead off for the Cubs. Kingman in the 2nd inning struck out. Busch, the right-hander, trailing 2-0. Cubs would like to add to that lead. The right-hander's into the windup. The pitch. Fastball in it, swing and a miss. Kingman wonders how he missed that one. That was right down the pipe. And he missed it. Cubs have 2 runs on 2 hits. Cardinals no runs on 2 hits. Templeton can shake hands with the third baseman Reese. That's close to Reese in the shift. The pitch, high outside, 1-1 to count. Phillips is protecting the middle of the diamond at second base, but he's playing on the first base side of second base. All Kingman has to do is hit a ground ball to the shortstop position. It's a base hit. High curveball, ball 2. Dwyer is only about 12, 15 feet off of the left field foul line. Center fielder Mumphrey is in left center. Right fielder is playing in right center. 2-1 pitch. Curveball for a strike. That one dropped very sharply over the plate. It looked like it was going to stay high, and then all of a sudden, in front of the plate, it dropped in that strike zone. The count is 2-2. Kingman will be followed by Mercer, and then Trio. Here's the 2-2 pitch by Forsch. Curveball, and he reaches out and misses it for a strikeout. Kingman has struck out twice. And he had one really good ripple on the first strike, the fastball. That's the one he was wondering how he missed, because that was the one he could have parked underneath that scoreboard in left center. Here's Mercer, and the first pitch by Forsch. High, fastball, ball 1. Cardinals play Mercer straight away. Forsch into that windup. The kick and the pitch. Fastball, a swing, a fly ball into right field, just a can of corn. Right fielder Orge is there coming in, and he grabs it two-handed for the out. 2 out. Cubs scored their 2 runs in the 3rd inning when Rader doubled with 1 out. And after 2 were out, DeJesus walked, and then Gross singled to center to score Rader, setting DeJesus to third. And that's how important going from first to third is, because DeJesus scored on the wild pitch by Forsch. First pitch to Trio, outside, and misses the glove of Simmons and goes back to the screen, ball one. 2 outs, nobody on base. 4th inning. 1 ball pitch. High, ball 2. Reach deep at third for Trio. Trio was 1 for 4 last night, and he has an 8-game hitting streak on the line tonight. The pitch, swing and a tap to the left of Reach. He lets it go for Templeton. He has it, fires the first in time. On the run. That young shortstop has a strong arm. On the run, towards the pitching mound. He just fired a strike to Hernandez to retire Trio. In the 4th inning, no runs, no hits, nobody left on base. So the Cardinals come to bat. In the bottom of the 4th inning, it's the Chicago Cubs 2, St. Louis Cardinals nothing.
You can achieve professional-looking painting results at home when you use professional quality paint accessories from True Value hardware stores, like True Test Orel paint brushes. They're made from a tapered polyester filament that can outlast ordinary bristle 3 to 1 and are excellent for all types of paints, varnishes, and finishes. True Test Orel paint brushes from True Value hardware stores spread paint on smoothly and evenly and can produce a fine finish with up to 50% less brush marks than ordinary brushes. And they easily clean up in all paint solvents. Weather won't affect Orel brushes, so you can use them indoors or out all year long. You'll find True Test Orel brushes in a size and style for every painting need, from wide wall brushes to angular trimmers, exclusively at participating True Value hardware stores.
Finishing up his warm-up tosses. In the 4th inning, he'll face Reitz, who's batting third in Ken Boyer's lineup tonight. And then Simmons, then Hernandez. Buckner in on the mound, having a chat with Lamp as Reitz steps in the batter's box. Cubs leading 2-0. Here's the windup and first pitch by Lamp. Fastball for a strike called over the outside corner. Lamp, in this reporter's opinion, here's the pitch. A swing and a fly ball deep in the left center. Gross going back, still going back. He's under it. Lots of room here at Busch Stadium. That would have been out of the ballpark at Wrigley Field on the Wayland Avenue, but not here. Gross scampers back and gathers it in. I was going to say, in my opinion, Lamp has increased the velocity of his fastball tremendously since spring training. Good weather will bring that out, where pitchers can extend themselves. Here's the first pitch now to Simmons. He taps it foul off of the leg of Runge, the umpire behind the plate. It was young Runge's dad, who was a great American League umpire a few years back. Not too many. Here's the pitch. Outside and low, 1-1 the count. One ball, one strike. Curveball tapped down the first base line. Foul. Down into the Cardinals bullpen. One ball, 2 strikes to Simmons, 1 out, nobody on base. Simmons will be followed by Hernandez. Cardinals in quite a slump. Not only a hitting slump, but also a slump in executing defensively. There's one hit deep to right field. Mercer going back, it's over his head, against the wall. Just next to the 386-foot marker, and Simmons is on with a double. Simmons hit that ball as well as Reitz. Only Reitz was high and a fly ball, which enabled Gross to get under. This one was a line drive over Mercer's head into right center for a double. The third hit off Lamp. The 16th double for Simmons. Now here's Hernandez. First pitch, fastball tapped in front of the plate. Lamp off the mound. He has it. Fires to Buckner. He's out. Simmons advances to third. Let's pause 5 seconds for station identification. This is the WGN Chicago Cubs Baseball Network.
This is WGN Radio, Chicago.
Well, they tell you Lamp had to hustle off of that mound to retire Hernandez. He picked that ball up just in front of the 40-foot, 5-foot foul line that extends out 3 feet for the runners. If the ball is there and a fielder is in the tip to field that ball, the runner has to go to the outside of the line. A swing and a tap foul by Orge. A fine play by Lamp, even though Simmons advances to third. He's there with 2 outs now, and Orge the hitter. Lamp gets his sign. Here's the strike one pitch. Orge swings at the fly ball in the short left. Kingman is there. He clubs it one-handed for the out. In the 4th inning, no runs. 1 hit. The double goes to waste. 1 man left on base. At the end of 4 innings of play, Cubs still holding on. Cubs 2, Cardinals nothing.
Heileman's Old Style, the legendary beer from God's country, is a beer brewed with sparkling, pure Wisconsin spring water in a traditional old world way of pure brewing, double brewing, called poisoning. Poisoning is the most natural way to brew beer and the most expensive. Most expensive because it takes more time. Heileman's Old Style is one American premium beer that's fully poisoned, naturally carbonated. Poisoning is what makes Old Style a great light beer. Try Old Style and taste the difference poisoning makes. Old Style, pure brewed in God's country. G. Heileman Brewing Company, La Crosse, Wisconsin.
Cubs with a 2-0 lead going into the 5th inning here at St. Louis. Steve Ontiveros, who led off the 3rd inning against Bob Busch, will be stepping in momentarily. At a big house today at Yankee Stadium in New York. Some 53,000. And they saw the Blue Jays defeat the Yankees 4-1. Boston on Jim Rice's 17th home run of the year. He leads the majors. Gave the Red Sox and Louis Tiant a 1-0 victory. Tiant now 3-0. Morris suffering that loss in relief of Rosamond. Kansas City, Minnesota postponed. Seattle at Texas underway. No score. Ontiveros stepping in, and the first pitch to him a ball outside. Lacey got the win for Oakland again today, and will be the losing pitcher in relief for the White Sox. Before 28,367 at Sox Park. 1-0 delivery. Little low. Ball 2 on Ontiveros. Montreal scoring in each of the first 4 innings at Pittsburgh tonight. Finally did not get on the board in the 5th, but they carry a 9-1 lead over the Pirates at the end of 5. They've knocked out Jim Rooker. Ontiveros takes, and there's a strike. Ball 2, strike 1. Looks like Rudy May, the southpaw, out of Breeze to his 4th win of the year. Fastball swung on. He rips a hard one-hopper into the glove of Hernandez at first base. Get a bullet. Right at him. With 1 out, Dave Rader stepping in. He doubled the first hit of the night by the Cubs. Came with 1 out in the 3rd. Had to hold at second base as Dennis Lamp, trying to advance him with a ball to the right side, was thrown out by the pitcher. De Jesus as Forsch lost control. issued a walk, curved him on 3-2 to put him on. Here's the pitch. Rader takes the fastball in too close. A little bit of grousing by Ted Simmons at plate umpire Paul Runge. Then Gross produced the first run of the night with a base hit, driving in his 15th run of the season, and sending to Jesus to third, and he was able to come across the plate on a wild pitch while Buckner was at bat. He reaches off the end of the bat, hits one of the shortstop Templeton, and bobbles it, picks it up, throws, he's safe. Gary Templeton had that ball flip up as he circled around to his right. Made a good in-the-air catch. Tried to hurry the throw, got it over there with plenty on it, but not in time. Let's see whether it's going to be another hit for Dave Rader. They do decide that he would have made it anyway. The Rader 2 for 2 tonight and 4 for 6 in this series. A thorn in the side of his old teammates. Dennis Lamp preparing to sacrifice. Pushes the butt of the first base side. Hernandez charges in, goes to second. In time. Relay. Double. Nope. No double play. Hernandez apparently came off the bag too soon. And Kenny Boyer, former infielder for these Cardinals, is out there to beef on the call by Jerry Dale. He had to come off the bag too soon because the throw would have beaten Lamp for what would have been a double play. As it is, he's just down on a fielder's choice with 2 gone. That'll leave it up to DeJesus to see if the Cubs can add to their lead. Hernandez, charging the bunt off the bat of Lamp, made a fine throw to second to force Rader. Then he hustled on back to the bag at first base, but he was a little quick getting off. So Ivan, who scored the second run of the inning in the third, steps in. He is officially 0 for 1 tonight. First pitch to the right-hander, swung on, ground ball into the glove of Hernandez. He has it. Steps in the bag. Puts the ball over his head out to the pitcher's mound, and the Cubs are retired with no damage done in the 5th inning, 1 hit. 1 man left in the bases. And a busy inning for the first baseman, Keith Hernandez. Dennis Lamp will face the bottom third of the St. Louis Cardinal batting order here in the 5th inning with the score still the Cubs 2 and the Cards nothing.
They once saw a glass bowl. That's a Sunday smile. It's glass.
Great taste. Now you can buy a McDonald's sundae in a reusable glass.
What a value.
Offer expires June 4th at participating McDonald's.
The end of school can also mean the beginning of more dirty finger marks on your walls and woodwork. So True Value hardware stores are offering True Test Easy Care Latex Flat Enamel at a special price. Hi, Pat Summerall to tell you Easy Care has a scrubbable enamel hard finish. Yet it has a flat latex look in 44 colors plus white. So get True Test Easy Care, the paint that's earned the Good Housekeeping seal for just $9.97 a gallon during National True Test Paint Week now until June the 4th at participating True Value hardware stores.
Correct myself and make it Phillips. It came off that bag in a hurry down there, not Hernandez. Like the second baseman coming over, of course, to cover on a sacrifice attempt by Lamp in that kind of a situation. But there was no error, of course, because they did force the runner at second base. Montreal has now increased its lead to the Pirates. Montreal 10. Pittsburgh 1. And that ball game now is in the 7th inning. The Expos freezing. It's a tough ball club this year with a very fine outfield and a pretty good pitching staff. And a flock of infielders. Atlanta batting in the bottom of the 4th inning. The Braves and Phillies are tied at 1 apiece. Switch hitter. Gary Mumphrey stepping in to lead off against rookie Dennis Lamp. The windup of the first pitch swung on, and a drive into left center field. It's going to be in for a base hit. Gross coming over to cut it off. He does. And Mumphrey opens up the 5th with a line single to left center field. That will bring up Mike Phillips. Hit a vicious line drive Looked like it'd be in for a base hit into right, but Manny Trio made a super catch on it and showed an awful lot of range, going well over to the first base line to haul it in. Phillips, a left-handed hitter, is replacing Tyson. Here's the pitch. Swung on. Ground ball to Trio. Could be two. To De Jesus. The relay. Not quite in time. And De Jesus protesting. There may be interference, and there is. Humphrey went out of the baseline trying to get to De Jesus on it. And that will be a double play. It is called by the second base umpire, John McSherry. The boos you hear in the background are directed at the 250-pound second base umpire. And he is now explaining to Kenny Boyer. That's about the fourth time this year that call has been made in the National League. And I know it's been made a couple of times in the American League. And it used to be that a base runner could go virtually to right field or to the shortstop position to break up a double play in that spot. But they have been bearing down on it this year, and they're no longer permitting that. And so credit to Cubs with their 30th double play of the year. And listen to this crowd boo. Well, he's an umpire, and he's heard it all before. The Cub fans, and there's a good-sized Cub contingent here again tonight, of course, are cheering that decision. Interference on Mumphrey, who went well out to the right side, heading into second, trying to prevent De Jesus from getting off the throw, which he did, and he took an awful lot off of it. Mumphrey did, by going into De Jesus. Now we're back in action, and there's a swing by Busch, and he tops one down to Olivares. He's an easy out on a one-bouncer. So the side is retired, and Dennis Lamp, emulating the performance last night of Dave Roberts, has shut out the St. Louis Cardinals through 5 innings. No runs, 1 hit, and nobody left on. At the end of 5, the Cubs come to bat, still out in front 2-0.
The Cubs and the home. We make our bodies a pleasure again.
If you're like most people, this is the time of year to think about some serious traveling. And what better way to hit the road than in the smooth riding comfort of a brand new Oldsmobile? Your Chicagoland Oldsmobile dealer is ready for you with a great selection of brand new Oldsmobiles and a wide range of colors and options. Which Oldsmobile is right for you? It's your Chicagoland Oldsmobiler's job to help make the perfect match and to do it without pressuring you in any way. Your gallant men of Olds know the difference between being pushy and being helpful. So if you're getting ready to hit the road, even if it's just back and forth on Lakeshore Drive, visit your Chicagoland Oldsmobile dealer today and find out how they can make car buying a pleasure for you.
We make our bodies a pleasure again. The gallant men of old. We make our
Well, you talk about an outburst, the Montreal Expos got 3 more runs in the top of the 7th inning at Pittsburgh, and they now have a 13-1 lead over the Pirates. With Pittsburgh batting in the bottom of the 7th inning. You know, we'll be up at Montreal Monday night, Tuesday night, and Wednesday night to complete this road trip, and then back home to Wrigley Field to take on Atlanta Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. For all of you friends of the Cubs, age 13 and under, listen now. You can show whose side you're on by coming out to Wrigley Field next Saturday, week from today. That's T-shirt day, and you can get yourself a free Cubs T-shirt to wear while you cheer on the Chicago Cubs of '78. Remember, you have to be 13 or under. You have to be one of the first 15,000 kids at the ballpark, and you have to have a fully paid ticket. Bleacher tickets are not included. T-shirt day, next Saturday, June the 3rd at Wrigley Field. To order tickets in advance, use your MasterCharge or Visa card. Call the credit card ticket line at 248-7900. That's 248-7900. Message furnished by the Chicago Cubs. Greg Gross, who has hit safely now in the last 13 games in which he has started, steps in to lead off the sixth inning. Busch in the windup. First pitch, and he has to jump back out of the way. Ball one. That one is in too tight, just about at the knees. Yankees have taken a 1-0 lead over Houston at the Dome tonight after 1.5 innings of play. And that's playing pretty good ball. They'll be the Cardinals' next opponent. In fact, they go there tomorrow night from here for a twilight doubleheader on Monday against them. Wind up, 1-1 delivery. Gregg takes. It's high and tight, ball 2, strike 1. Started tonight hitting .324 and is 1 for 2 tonight. And drove in his 15th run of the season with a single in the third that produced Dave Rader across the plate. He swings and gets under it, fouls it back out of play. Newly crowned Junior Miss America, Kim Crosby, making an appearance here in St. Louis tonight. Her first, 17-year-old young lady. Crowned Junior Miss in Mobile, Alabama, May 8th. Busch in the windup, and a fastball misses outside and high. Kansas City, Minnesota, rained out. Oakland defeating the Sox today in 10 innings, 4-3. Bucka, there's the ball way inside for ball 4. That is the second walk issued by Busch tonight. He had only allowed 2 earned runs in his last 21 innings coming into this start tonight. And he shut out the Cubs. Was perfect against the first 7 batters. And Rader spoiled his bid for his second no-hitter of the year with a double. Now Bill Buckner, who's grounded out twice, steps in. And Busch in the stretch. Misses a little low with a breaking pitch. Crosby, by the way, from Springfield, Missouri. And she may be dropping by after a moment here for a little hello with us. Runner on at first base, Greg Gross. Pretty fair lead. Busch, a right-hander. Long look over the shoulder, comes to the plate with a curve. It didn't have anything on it. It missed very high and outside. Ball 1, strike 1 on Buckner. Check signs with Coach Malpatano before stepping back into the batter's box with squared away stance. Here's the stretch, the pitch. Swung on, one hopper, back to Busch, goes to Templeton for 1, the relay, double play. Great pitch by Bobby Busch that time as he threw Buckner a let-up. And he had all of his power spent by the time his bat got to that ball out in front of the plate. A one-hopper right back to the pitcher. That's the kind of pitching that you get from a veteran like Busch. And Kenny Boyer expects the same kind from John Denny, but he says beyond that, in my starters, he says they don't have the experience to come up with pitches in that kind of a situation. So the Cardinals with a double play. They're 36th of the year. Base is empty for Dave Kingman. Busch has handled him like a baby so far. He has struck him out twice. He comes in with the first one. It's a strike call. A breaking ball right at the knees. The big, tall, right-handed hitting left fielder. Mumphrey very deep in left center field. Dwyer deep guarding the line in left. They give him right field. Comes over the top of that one. A breaking ball low and outside. He would not chase it. Last night at San Francisco, they drew more than 46,000. Today, they drew 45,865. But the Dodgers evened up that series with a 3-1 victory. Bert Hooton getting the win. Here's the pitch. Swung out and missed. He went after one letter high away. Ball 1, strike 2. Well, Hooton now is 4-4. Vida Blue suffering only his second loss. He had lost his first start of the year for San Francisco, then reeled off 6 straight victories. But the left-hander a loser today. Ball 1, strike 2. Busch with a curve, swung out and missed for strike 3. He has struck out Kingman 3 straight times tonight. In the 6th inning, a leadoff walk, a double play. Nobody left on. We move to the bottom of inning number 6. It's still the Cubs 2, St. Louis doesn't.
downtown delicatessen.
I'd like to order some sandwiches to pick up.
Okay.
2 Vienna corned beef sandwiches, 1 pastrami.
Excuse me, is that just plain corned beef on Vienna bread, or is it genuine Vienna brand corned beef on just any kind of bread?
Genuine Vienna brand corned beef.
Okay, 2 Vienna corned beef.
No bread.
No bread?
No bread.
Just Vienna corned beef, no bread?
No bread, just Vienna corned beef.
This is a sandwich?
It's a barefoot poor boy sandwich with just plenty of that incomparably tender, juicy, flavorful Vienna corned beef.
Okay, 2 Vienna corned beef, 1 Vienna pastrami sandwich, no bread. What's the name on that?
Vienna.
Thank you, Mr. Vienna.
Next time that you want a really delicious corned beef or pastrami sandwich with or without bread, visit your favorite delicatessen or food store displaying the Vienna name. That's Vienna, known throughout the country. Well, I was just talking a few moments ago about America's junior miss, Kim Crosby, from Springfield, Missouri, hoping that she'd be up here. And Kim, it's a pleasure to have you, love.
Thank you.
You won a scholarship to where? Columbia?
Well, the main scholarship was a $15,000 scholarship.
$15,000.
To any college by choice. And then I did receive a full tuition and full room and board scholarship from Columbia College in Columbia, Missouri.
Well, congratulations. That is just tremendous. $15,000 scholarship ought to get you through 1 year, huh?
Mm-hmm.
I want to continue talking with Gary Templeton stepping in, and he took a pitch and then fouled that one back for strike 2. Are you going to be majoring, for example, in journalism at Columbia, which, of course, is an outstanding school in that area?
Okay, this MU is the one I think you're talking about, but Columbia College is a smaller liberal arts college, and that's what I plan to attend. And I'll major in fashion illustration.
Majoring in what?
In fashion illustration.
Uh-huh. Have you been doing some of that towards the title that you won, America's Junior Miss?
Well, I have. I do a lot of sketching on my own, and I really became interested through, local stores. I've worked with a lot of fashions and, all the contemporary things, and I do a lot of sketching on my own.
You make any of your own clothes?
I do. I sew a little bit.
Good for you. Templeton swings at a ground ball to Manny Trio at second. He's up with it off that carpet easily. One away, and that'll bring up Jimmy Dwyer. Jim, we want to thank you very much. What was the title you won in Illinois?
Oh, no, I'm from Missouri.
I know,
Missouri.
but wasn't there a title that you won in Illinois?
Nope.
No? Okay.
Nope.
Well, if you'd been in the state, I'm sure you would have won one.
Thanks.
Congratulations, Kim.
Thank you.
Very nice. Kim Crosby, America's Junior Miss. Jimmy Dwyer stepping in. And we've got a bit of an almost fog atmosphere here now in St. Louis all of a sudden. Dwyer is bounced out and fly to center. The left-hander swings and it drives. Lee is being catched by Manny Trio. Unbelievable. You know what a jack-in-the-box is. Manny Trio had giant springs in his legs for that one. And Sonny Roberto, the first base coach, is just glaring out at the Cubs' second baseman. He looked like he went a mile up in the air, and his reaction was just absolutely instantaneous. Here's Reed swinging at a ground ball to Ivan De Jesus on the first pitch. He is out of there to retire the side. It'll look like a routine inning in the box score. But it was cut that as Jimmy Dwyer was absolutely robbed by Manny Trio. 3 up and 3 down. The Cardinals, of course, have not been scoring runs throughout this long siege of about 2 weeks where they have not been able to post but one victory. They were shut out last night by Roberts. Tonight, against Dennis Lamp, they have 4 hits, no runs, and the Cubs come to bat. 7th inning stretch for the Cubs fans who are happy to look at the scoreboard and see it's the Cubs 2, St. Louis nothing.
General Finance, friendly Bob Adams.
Carrie Potterfield here, Bob, for a home repair loan.
That can be easily arranged, Carrie. Some damage at home?
Yeah, our little Binky is getting kind of playful.
What breed is he?
He's an American buffalo, Bob.
A buffalo?
The wife heard they were an endangered species, so we took one in.
You must have a big house.
You bet. 2 bedrooms.
Is there room for all of you, Carrie?
Oh, sure, unless Binky chases a car. He likes to bring him home, Bob.
I see.
And this morning he was sleeping at the foot of our bed when he hears the milkman.
You sleep with a buffalo.
Binky just ran right out to lick his hand, so we need a loan.
I don't follow.
Binky can't open the door, Bob.
Oh, so he just went right through the right. Well, I'll get to work on your home repair loan.
Oh, thanks, Bob. Sit, Binky. No, not there.
When you need financial assistance, General Finance has a plan to fit your needs. Find out why it makes sense to call General Finance for the person-to-person Bob Adams service. General Finance has the professional experience in a particular plan for your particular needs. There are 70 General Finance Chicago area offices. Call friendly Bob Adams to borrow up to $10,000. Call Andover 32020. Also an office in Bolingbrook. Cubs a winner here last night on Dave Roberts' 70th shutout. He didn't walk anybody or strike out anybody. Tonight, Dennis Lapp, who had one victory, and that was a shutout over the New York Mets, has flanked the Cardinals on 4 hits. He has not walked anybody, but he has fanned 2 men. And the Cubs, leading 2-0, have Bobby Mercer leading off. I would have to judge that about half of this crowd here tonight were standing for the Cubs' 7th inning stretch. First pitch thrown by Force. The lanky right-hander misses high. Ball 1 to Bobby. He has flied to left field and to right field tonight. Vince Lloyd here with you at Busch Memorial Stadium. And it's gotten just a little bit on the hazy and foggy side. Force in the windup. Right-hander misses down low. Ball 2. No strikes on Mercer. He'll be ready for this one. Paul Russell has now gotten up in the Cub bullpen. Wind up by Force. Here's the pitch. Fastball taken for a strike away. Ball 2, strike 1. The Phillies have the lead 3-1 at Atlanta with the Braves batting in the bottom of inning number 6, and Montreal is breezing. Curveball high and away. Ball 3, strike 1. Herman Franks was happy that he had no need to go into his bullpen last night, and particularly he did not have to call on Bruce Sutter. 3-1 pitch. Swung on, fouled, back out of play, fastball. He said, told me before the ball game tonight, Herman did, that he would not have gone to Sutter last night under any circumstances. He had worked 2+ innings against the Phillies the day before at Wrigley Field. But he and the rest of the bullpen rested last night as Dave Roberts went all the way and continued his mastery over the Cardinals. 2-0, the Cubs with 3 hits, the Cards with 4. Mercer goes after that pitch and fouls it back, way up into the mezzanine level on the third base side. So the count remains 3-2. And Force taking plenty of time, rubbing up a new baseball. President of the Chicago Cubs and Chief Operating Officer, and also their treasurer, Bill Haganaw. Here for this series, here's a swing by Bobby, and he taps a roller on the carpet to the second baseman, Mike Phillips, who pegs him out easily. Change by Force. The Haganaw family sitting in the Cub box. You're just beyond the Cub dugout behind third base. They arrived a little later than they wanted to last night. They missed part of the ball game. Manny Trio with an 8-game hitting streak on the line, stepping in. Tony Perez has homered for Montreal as if they needed it. They were leading 13-1. It's now 14-1 Montreal. Perez got his in the 8th inning with nobody on, giving Tony his 3rd home run of the year. Manny takes that first pitch of ball. He has grounded out to the shortstop and to the second baseman so far tonight. Needs a base hit here to extend his hitting streak to 9 straight games. Force delivers a fastball. It's outside, 2-0. Gary Maddox did a 2-run homer for the Philadelphia Phillies. And now Atlanta has tied Philadelphia 3-3. That's in the top of the 7th inning at Atlanta. 2-0 pitch. Swung on. It's a high fly ball that should be handled. Humphrey coming over. Center fielder calling for it, and he grabs it just in front of Jimmy Dwyer. There are 2 away. That will bring up Steve Oliveros. The Trio may have his hitting streak ended here tonight, but he won't care as long as the Cubs come up with a victory. Base is empty. 2 gone, and Oliveros, who's fouled out and grounded out, steps in. The Pirates are using everybody in that pitching staff tonight, including a rookie by the name of Royce. Rooker, Keeson came on in the third. He couldn't stop that Montreal Express. There's the ball. McInerney came on in the sixth. Now Royce in the ninth. Chuck Tanner might as well get out there and try his luck. There's a pitch for a strike. That levels the count at 1-1. Cubs with only 3 hits, but they got 2 of them in the third inning. And there was a walk and a wild pitch, and there is a base hit off the bat of Olivares into right center field. Hit number 4. The hits are even up, but the Cubs are leading 2-0. Dave Rader, a real thorn in the side of the Cardinals, got the first hit of the night, a one-out double in the third. He came across the plate on Greg Gross's single. Then he got an infield single in the 5th inning. But Dave, who had 2 hits last night and drove in 4 runs, tonight is 2 for 2. Batted in a pair last night and scored 1 so far tonight. The other one came in on a wild pitch by Forrest. 2 gone. Right-hander into the stretch. Here's the pitch, and Dave takes it high. Ball 1. Let's pause for station identification. This is the WGN Chicago Cubs Baseball Network.
This is WGN Radio Chicago.
Vince Lloyd and Lou Boudreau here with you. And a swing and a ground ball to the second baseman Phillips. He's up with it easily. And Porsche again showing a good change of speeds on him. Had him out in front of me. All he did is hit a weak grounder. Good pitching. No runs, 1 hit. The Cubs leave 1 man on. They've had only 3 men stranded here tonight. And the Cardinal crowd standing for their 7th inning stretch with the score still. The Cubs 2, St. Louis nothing.
The end of school can also mean the beginning of more dirty finger marks on your walls and woodwork. So True Value hardware stores are offering True Test Easy Care Latex Flat Enamel at a special price. Hi, Pat Summerall to tell you Easy Care has a scrubbable enamel hard finish. Yet it has a flat latex look in 44 colors plus white. So get True Test Easy Care, the paint that's earned the Good Housekeeping seal for just $9.97 a gallon during National True Test Paint Week now until June the 4th at participating True Value hardware stores.
Hi, Mary. What's that?
These?
Those next to your scrambled eggs and sausages leaning against the English muffin?
Oh, yeah, that's McDonald's hash browns are very good.
Don't kid me around.
Hash browns, McDonald's style.
Hi, Mary. Hi, Bud.
Hi, Bud.
What are those?
Take a bite, they're good.
Hash browns. Let me taste it. Taste this.
Hey, real potatoes cooked up crispy on the outside, tender on the inside, just like our world-famous fries. Then they look a little different, but they taste terrific.
Hash browns.
Hash browns.
They're good. They're terrific. And they're gone.
Ball game now going into the Cardinal half of the 7th inning, and Dennis Lamb, a 4-hit shutout so far, hasn't walked anybody, and he struck out 2 men. His other win this year was a shutout against the New York Mets for his first Major League victory. Cub fans were holding up a banner down behind the Cub dugout, and some Cardinal fans came up with one of their own, and the Cardinal fans are back on their feet again now. The rough start for St. Louis this year, but the baseball fan alive who doesn't believe sincerely that this is a far, far better Cardinal ball club than their won-and-loss record indicates at this time of the season. They just are not hitting. They're not scoring runs. That's not just a reference to the job done by Lamp here tonight and Roberts last night, but over the last couple of weeks, they just have not been able to get any big innings going. They haven't been able to come up with those 6 or 7 runs in a ball game occasionally. Here's Simmons stepping in, swinging, lifting a high fly ball. Gross circling under it, and the ball drops between him and Kingman. Here's Simmons out his way to third, and he will arrive standing. A very high fly ball that had to hit about 10 feet in front of the warning track in left center field.
Well, Vince, that's the first time that we've had lack of communication in that outfield for a long while. Gross could have had the ball. He thought Kingman was going to take it. Kingman looked at Gross, and by the time they both decided maybe I'd better catch it, it had already landed into left center.
So it goes officially as a triple. But that ball should have been caught. Runner at third. Tying run at the plate is Hernandez, who's 0 for 2. The left-hander swings. Ground ball right side. It'll score the first run of the night for St. Louis. That makes it 2-1 Cubs. On a chopper, Manny Trio, Hernandez is credited with his 22nd run batted into the year. A left-hander throwing now in the Cardinal bullpen down the right field line. Looks like Buddy Schultz. Dane Orge, left-handed hitting outfielder, first baseman stepping in. First pitch to him. Takes. Lamp misses a little bit low with that sinking fastball. Orge is grounded out and flied to left field. He's only been about 30 times, including tonight's game. Lamp delivers. He's low and inside. Ball 2, no strikes. And time out. Mike Rourke, the Cub pitching coach, crowding out from the dugout behind third base. Donnie Moore and Willie Hernandez have been throwing in the Cub bullpen. A leadoff, long, high fly ball off the bat of Ted Simmons. Landed out in left center field in catchable territory. And it held up long enough for the ball to be caught. But Gross was racing over after it. Kingman went into left center field after it. Gregg apparently thinking that Kingman was going to get to it, kind of pulled up. And the ball dropped in the carpet, bounced high against the wall, and before it could be retrieved and gotten into the infield, it was ruled a triple for Simmons, who then came in on a tap to the second baseman for the out number 1. Bases are empty. Rourke back in the dugout. Lamp into the windup. 2-0 pitch. Orge swings viciously, taps a foul ball back out of play. 2-1 on him. There is no cheering in Pittsburgh tonight. Montreal. There's the pitch swung on and a deep drive left field, but Kingman looks like he has room. He does. He's there. Dave reaches up, one-hands it. And Dane Orge got a well-hit drive. The opposite side makes out number 2 in the 7th inning. That will bring up Jerry Mumphrey. Montreal carries a 15-1 lead at Pittsburgh going into the bottom of the 9th inning. That has to be humiliating in front of your hometown crowd. That will leave Pittsburgh with a record of 19-23. And Montreal goes a game over the 500 mark with that win tonight. They'll be 22-21. Mumphrey swings. He's jammed to the pitch. Ground ball right side. Nice pickup by Trio. Throws to Buckner. The side is retired. Boy, Trio's covering an awful lot of ground, going way over towards the first base side. A cheap run for the Cardinals, but it counts just as big as if it was a home run. One hit in the inning and nobody left on. So the Cardinals have scored for the first time in this series. And the Cubs come to bat at the end of 7, now leading 2-1.
When you brew a beer in God's country, you begin with sparkling pure Wisconsin spring water. Water that flows deep beneath the ground. Then you pure brew, double brew it in a traditional old world way called poisoning. Poisoning is the most natural way to brew beer and the most expensive. Most expensive because it takes more time. But Heileman's Old Style is one American premium beer that is still fully poisoned, naturally carbonated. Because at Old Style, we don't aim to make the most beer, only the best. Taste the difference poisoning makes. Try Old Style, pure brewed in God's country. G. Heileman Brewing Company, La Crosse, Wisconsin.
Despite the fact that the Cardinals are having such a sorry time of it here in the last couple of weeks, have a fine attendance here tonight. And, of course, it's helped along by this great rivalry between these two Eastern Division clubs. And their rivalry goes back a long time before the National League was divided into 2 divisions. We have 33,333 paid here tonight So the Cardinals now are well over the 300,000 mark. About 320,000 paid at home, and this their 23rd game at home. Dennis Lamp leading off the 8th inning. First pitch by Busch. He reaches out, hits a high, pop foul behind the plate. Ted Simmons throws away the mask, makes the catch about 4 or 5 feet in front of the fence behind home plate. And here they have a nice warning track of about 3 or 4 feet where the carpet ends behind home plate before you get to the backstop. The catcher has a little warning there if he's racing back hard against that fence. It's a good idea. And you have more room here than you do in a lot of ballparks behind the plate and also in foul territory. Considerably more than you have, for example, at Wrigley Field. One away, and DeJesus stepping in, walked and scored on a wild pitch in the 3rd inning. Right now, that's the difference in the ballgame. He's 0 for 2 officially. First pitch to him, a ball. Busch in the windup. Throws that one into the dirt, a breaking ball. Tall, lean, 6'4", about 200 pounds. And one of the super pitchers in the league. Kenny Boyer is resigned to the fact that he's probably going to have to continue to go with some of his young pitchers and find out before the season is over whether or not they are really going to be major league pitchers in the future. It's a swing and a tap, foul, back out of play. And he says so far as he knows, there is no hot pitching prospect in the Cardinal organization. He's hoping that young Falcone, for example, can develop. He'll go along for 2 or 3 innings, showing a very fine arm, but all of a sudden, somebody will pull the rug out from under him. Here's a swing and a ground ball to reach the 3rd. Kenny charges, swings a fastball over across to Hernandez, and DeJesus is blotted out. Bases empty, 2 gone, and Greg Gross, who was singled in the 3rd and drove in the first Cub run of the night. He is hit safely now in the last 13 ball games in which he has started. Walked in the 6th inning, was rubbed out on the double play ball. So Greg tonight is 1 for 2. Started the evening hitting .324. 2-1 score. Cubs leading. Slow curve, and Porsche misses down low.
And all reliable is up throwing in the Cubs bullpen.
Yep. There's Mr. Sutter, who Herman said, I absolutely would not have used him last night under any circumstances.
Not with a 6-run lead. When you get down to a 1-run lead.
Under any circumstances.
Well, if he gets down to a 1-run lead, I'd like to see him hold that statement true.
Yeah.
I know how it is.
I said, Herman, what if the score was all of a sudden 6-5? He says, you get out of here now. Well, we all know he didn't want to use Bruce last night. In fact, Kevin, he didn't have to. That pitch is the ball low. In fact, he's not had to use anybody down here so far from the bullpen. Good pitching has certainly been outstanding.
Get another complete game tonight, and tomorrow they have the bullpenners complaining.
Yeah. Hey, when do we get in? When do we have some fun? There's the ball outside, and Porsche struggling here with Greg Gross. He walked in to lead off the 6th inning, and now with the bases emptied, 2 out in the 8th, he has a 3-0 count, and Simmons has been giving it to young Paul Runge, the plate umpire. Now, time is called, and Simmons has got to go into the dugout. Runge says, where are you going?
They won't let him go either.
No.
There's change of equipment. He wanted a glass of water, I guess, or to cool down.
Paul says, you come back here. Now here comes Kenny Boyer out as Simmons is walking out towards the pitcher's mound, and Boyer is going to join him out there between the plate and the mound. Whatever Simmons says to Boyer is calm Kenny down a little bit. But as Simmons comes back with that mask on, we can see those jaws of his going almost non-stop to Runge. And as he squats down to give the sign, and he's delaying now, scraping a little dirt in batter's box, and Runge doing the same thing as they continue to exchange words.
This is wrong with an umpire continuing to agitate the ball player.
like to know why he wanted to go to the dugout and why Runge wouldn't let him. 3-0 pitch. There's ball 4 outside.
You knew he was going to call that ball 4 regardless of where.
Yeah.
He wants to run Simmons, you see.
Now, he has called time, Runge has, and he has stepped out back to the pitcher, unnecessarily dusting off home plate, which is probably as clean or cleaner than your kitchen floor. And let me tell you, he had some sharp words with Simmons. Now he angrily gets behind the Cardinal catcher, hands on his hips. You can see the red starting up in his neck from here. And Buckner stepped in. He goes after the first pitch and lets a fly ball to left field. It's going to be caught, and the inning is over. No runs in the 8th, no hits, a walk, a man left. The Cubs have stranded 4 men. The Cardinals come to bat in the 8th inning. Mike Phillips to lead off, and then the pitcher is due to follow. With the score still, the Cubs 2, St. Louis 1.
Good morning. I'd like to try the breakfast with the hash browns, please.
Oh, McDonald's scrambled eggs and sausage and hash brown breakfast with an English muffin, toasted English muffin.
What's the name of it?
McDonald's scrambled eggs and sausage and hash brown breakfast with a toasted English muffin.
Tra la, but I mean, what's the name of it?
We don't have a name.
McDonald's scrambled eggs and sausage and hash browns breakfast.
But, I mean, that's too long.
Well, I guess it could use a shorter name.
You need punchy here. You need punchy name. You need name punchy quick.
Oh, you mean like Egg McMuffin?
People order fast, punchy quick, name fast here.
McEgg sauce hash browns.
Greg Brassage.
Egg muff sauce hash reg bread.
It doesn't flow.
2 freshly scrambled eggs.
2 scram. McScram.
McScram.
Amsteak.
No, pure pork sausage.
Naposa.
A buttered toasted English muffin.
The toasted muffin.
McMuffin.
Batolishman.
And a big helping of our grape hash brown.
Oh,
Deep fried to be crispy on the outside, tender on the inside, just like our world-famous fries.
So you do want that?
yes, I want that. Didn't I say that?
You got it.
That's the band breakfast. I'll have that.
Our scrambled eggs and sausage and hash brown breakfast.
Would you like us some McDonald's coffee with that?
McGuffey.
McGuffey.
Gross is now replacing Kingman. And Joe Wallace, who got into the game last night, first time in almost 2 weeks that he had played, is going out to play center field. He had strained his knee in the game against the Dodgers, running out a hit. Kind of protecting it, he kind of pulled a hamstring. And he'd been sidelined because of that injury. So Herman shoring up his defense, Gross in left and Wallace in center. Mercer remaining in right. And here's Mike Phillips stepping in, tapping a foul ball. Porsche, a good hitter in the on-deck circle. The Cubs, remember, will be home next Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to take on Atlanta. Here's Lamp in the windup and the pitch. Phillips takes. Strike called on the left-handed hitter. Fastball. Green grass, fresh air, sunshine, delicious refreshments, and exciting Major League Baseball starting at Wrigley Field Friday. Lamp in the windup, and there is a ball a little bit low and away. 1-2. Dennis working rather quickly. Throws a curve into the dirt way inside. Why don't you plan to get a group together and enjoy watching one of the games between the Cubs and Atlanta? You can make group seating and transportation arrangements very easy. 2-2 pitch, swung on and fouled, back out of play into the mezzanine seats. Just call EB71919 and ask about the Ernie Banks special group package for groups of 20 or more. That's EB71919, area code 312, and you can call collect. Try call a fastball. Caught Mike Phillips, being in a spectator's role at the plate. Third strikeout of the night for Dennis. And Lou Brock is now going to bat for Bob Busch. As Phillips reached, of course, Busch would have been set up to sacrifice. But now Brock, who didn't. Great variety of businesses here in addition to playing baseball, and he's going to get a big hand as he emerges from the dugout swinging that weighted bat. Great veteran. 0 for 2 as a pinch hitter on the year. Brock is batting .255. Has 28 hits, 4 of them doubles. First pitch to Lou, and it's a strike ball. 2-1 score. was a rather cheap Cardinal run to Kelly. Here's a swing and a drive into left field. He's got himself a base hit. Goes over to cut it off in the first half. Opposite field, line single by Lou Brock. I would have to think, though, that he was ripped up a little bit by that very fine hand he got.
Yes, that's the difference of playing at home and on the road, because when you get that amount of cheering by some 30,000 people here, it sort of increases that momentum and that incentive in one's body, and Brock was ready.
Herman Franks out to the dugout. He's had Sitter and Hernandez ready in the bullpen. And Kenny Boyer does not have any more right-handed pinch hitters on his bench.
Because he has Tyson.
I'm sorry, yeah, he does have to. Forgot about Mike Tyson, yeah. But Herman, for the first time down here in St. Louis, is going to the bullpen, and it's going to be Bruce Sitter coming in. So we have a delay in the action here at Busch Memorial Stadium. 1 out, tying run, Lou Brock at first base. Cardinals batting in the 8th. Let's take time out for this message.
What is it?
The hash brown patty. Hash brown.
Some people don't know McDonald's hash brown when they see it.
Your breakfast, Major.
Eggs scrambled fresh?
Fresh scrambled eggs.
Sausage?
Ready to smile.
McDonald's hash browns, crisp and golden on the outside, tender on the inside.
Just like our world-famous fries.
But still funny looking.
Served only at breakfast.
We do it all for you.
What I should have said is that they have no other here left-handed pinch hitter on the bench. They do have switch hitter Tony Scott, and then they have Freed, Morales, Switcher, and Tyson are all right-handers. But it's academic because Sitter is out on the hill with Gary Templeman switch hitting shortstop in, and Brock at first base. He's not going to go. A swing and a bouncing ball on the right side of the infield near the line, picked up by Sitter. Throws. He's safe. Infield hit. Templeman who can fly across the bag before Sitter on that weak little chopper just inside the first base line could get to the ball.
Vince, there might be some schools of thought of why Herman brought in Suter and not Hernandez, a left-hander with Brock at first base. The baseball's greatest base stealer. You would think that a left-hander would hold him close to the bag and pitch to a right-handed hitting Templeton for a double play. Then again, Suter is your number 1 man. He's been your saver in the last week or 10 days, so you're bringing in your best at that particular time.
Yeah, it really makes no difference to him whether the left or righty, but the point about getting a run around at first is a very good one, Lou. Jimmy Dwyer, a left-handed hitter, stepping in. He is 0 for 3 against Dennis Lamp. Infield tap by Templeton, yeah.
I think Franks was going ahead of that Templeton as a hitter in wanting Suter against Dwyer and not Hernandez against Freed or Morales.
I'd go along with him. Strike 1 pitch. In very tight. He had to twist out of the way at the last moment. The Cardinals now with 7 hits, including this infield tap off of Sitter. And they have 2 extremely fast men in the bases. Brock, 38, going to be 39 shortly. Templeton at first. Here's a swing and a mile-high pop-up in the first base line. Foul territory. Buckner coming up the line. Snatches it out of the air. One-handed. How about 25 feet away from the plate? The runners hold at first and second. There are 2 away. Dwyer was trying to drive one over the right field wall. He really lowered his shoulder on that one. Kenny Reitz, a right-hander. And this had to be another man, Lou, that Herman was very much fearful of.
Absolutely. He was hoping not to get to Reitz until the 9th inning.
Tough hitter. Single to hit one deep in center that was hauled in, grounded out. And there's a swing and a miss on the split-finger fastball. Rock representing the tying run at second base, and Gary Templeton the go-ahead run out at first with 2 gone in the bottom of the 8th. 2-1 Cubs. Sitter into the stretch. There's the pitch. Swung on. Ground ball to the second baseman. Trio races over to the back. Stepped on it for the 4th out, and the side is retired. And let me tell you, Reese didn't miss by much. Getting a ball right up the middle, and he angrily throws that Cardinal batting helmet from the first base foul line all the way into the dugout. Templeton forced at second base. And in the 8th inning, no runs. 2 hits. 2 men left on. The Cubs come to bat at St. Louis in the 9th inning, still leading the Birds 2-1.
The Gallup and the Old. We make car buying a pleasure again.
It's unfortunate, but true, that most people find buying a car an unpleasant experience. They feel pressured, spoken down to, and generally unfulfilled. Your Chicagoland Oldsmobile dealers don't claim to be perfect, but every day we're trying harder to make buying an Oldsmobile as pleasurable as owning one. It's an attitude of warmth, a confidence in our product. It's a team of professionals who know that courtesy and respect for the customer is the best way to sell a car. Come into an Oldsmobile showroom and find out how we can make car buying a pleasure for you.
The Gallup and the Old. We make car buying a pleasure again. The Gallup and the Old. We make car buying a pleasure again. The Gallup and the Old. We make.
Lou Brock is staying in to play left field, and a one-time Cub, Buddy Schultz, is coming on to work in relief. Bob Forsch, 8 innings of work, 4 hits, 2 runs, 1 that came across on a wild pitch. And that was De Jesus, who had walked in the 3rd inning. Got over to 3rd on Gross's base hit, and then came in on Forsch's wild pitch with 2 outs while Buckner was at bat. And Buddy Schultz working in relief. Making his 13th appearance. He's given up 9 earned runs in 24 and 2/3 innings. So Buddy's earned run average is just a shade over 3.28. Busch, very, very effective and tough pitcher here tonight. But he can only blame himself for the walk, and he can only blame himself for the wild pitch that forced him to be taken out of the ballgame for a pinch hitter. Lou Brock is staying into play left field, replacing Jimmy Dwyer. Joe Wallace stepping in for the first time tonight, batting in Kingman's spot in the batting order. Batting right-handed. Schultz's first pitch, the lefty misses high with a pass ball for ball 1. Wallace came on to play center field in the 8th inning when Gross moved over to left field. Here's the windup by Buddy. Fastball, a little bit high, ball 2. Philadelphia and Atlanta tied 3-3, bottom of the 7th inning. Montreal beat the Japers out of the Pittsburgh Pirates 15-1. Expos on top. Houston now leading the Mets 2-1 in the 4th inning. Here's the windup. Fastball is high, ball 3. Dodgers defeated San Francisco this afternoon before another big crowd at Candlestick Park in San Fran. Los Angeles winning 3-1 to even up that series. Cincinnati at San Diego tonight. Reds won out there behind Tom Seaver last night. Schultz in the windup, fires a strike call to fastball. Sox a loser to Oakland in 10 innings this afternoon in Chicago, 4-3. A good turnout there. Kansas City, Minnesota rained out. Here it's 2-1 Cubs with a 3-1 pitch coming up on Joe. Here it is. Fastball too high for ball 4. Leadoff walk. It'd be nice to be able to get that man in with an insurance run. And Bobby Mercer, the hitter, checking with Amalfitano to be sure what he should be doing. Whether they want him to sacrifice, swing away, or what. Wallace, by the way, hitting .316. It's only the 5th walk that Joe has received this year. Been at bat officially 38 times. Mercer scoring away to butt. Pulls the bat back, and he can't believe that Paul Runge's going to call that one a strike. But it is. He Left hand on his hip, steps out of the batter's box, studying Amalfitano's signs again. Strike one count. And the Cub outfielder, Bobby Mercer. Buddy, lean lefty, into the stretch, looking at first, kicks, here's the pitch. Swung on. Drive into center field. Going back is Bumphrey. He has room, and he's there. The last moment made a little leap for the ball, grabbed it one-handed. Wallace retreats to first base. So they let Mercer swing away, one away, a man still on at first. Well, it drive. Manny Trio, shut out tonight by Bob Busch, grounded out twice and flied to center, stepping in. Still has an 8-game hitting streak going into this action. Let's see if he can extend it to 9 with a base hit right here. Vince Lloyd and Lou Boudreau reporting from Busch Memorial Stadium. We'll conclude this series tomorrow afternoon. Our broadcast in Chicago getting underway at 12:55, 15 minutes after that on the network. First pitch. And he takes this fastball a little bit in too close. Rio started the night hitting .281. He may be just a shade under the .280 mark for the season right now. Buddy peering down, gets his sign from Simmons, checks the runner. Wallace at first, comes to the plate, swing and a miss. Had a good cut at it. Got nothing but Missouri air. All runs, strike one. Now Patano again flashing a set of signs, and Manny looking back down there to him says, "Why don't you give those to me in Spanish? I think it'll be easier." And finally, Al Patano has to repeat them. And he's still looking rather doubtful as he turns and steps into the batter's box. Like, well, I guess that's what you want. Here's the stretch and the pitch. Runner goes. Takes it high. The throw to second. He slides. He is out. Went in with a head-first slide, and he was just an instant too late, grasping for that bag with his left hand. Templeton putting the tag on him. He is officially caught stealing. Let's pause for station identification. This is the WGN Chicago Cubs Baseball Network.
This is WGN Radio, Chicago.
So the bases are empty. I don't know whether he missed going after that one, Lou, or what. There's a fastball swung on a miss. 2-2.
I don't know, but I would have to guess that that was a hit and run.
Yeah. Rio had looked very confused and perplexed about the signs just prior to that pitch, which he took. 2 off, 2-2 delivery. Swung on and missed, strike 3. 3 up and 3 down, as it turns out, in the ninth inning. And Manny, in rather earnest conversation with Paul Runge, the plate umpire, finally leaves that vicinity. He'll be taking the field as the Cardinals come to bat in the bottom of the ninth inning. It is still St. Louis 2, the Chicago Cubs 1. Well, we're right down to the nitty-gritty now. 2-1 ball game, and the Cardinals coming to bat. They have Simmons, Hernandez, and Dane Orge to face for a sitter. Don't forget, kids, get your free Cubs T-shirt with the Cubs Fair emblem and show everybody how much you love the 78 Cubs. 15,000 T-shirts are going to be given away to every child, 13 and under, with a fully paid ticket. Bleacher tickets not included. That's next Saturday at Wrigley Field T-shirt Day. Wind up. Simmons takes it to strike call. The Cubs versus the Braves, and parents in order. He can wind up the pitch. Strike call. Fastball inside corner. Simmons, who had it with Paul Runge while he was catching, is certainly not going to get the better of it in any close calls, as he is a batter here in this inning. And Boyer coming out for a word with Runge. He cannot question the ball and strike call, of course.
No, Vince, he's questioning the advertisement on the scoreboard. Now they've changed it. They've done that last inning also, which is not legal, of course, with that huge scoreboard that has advertisement on it, and then it turns to this dark green background.
That's the way it is supposed to be when that batter is up there. They just had not gotten through their complete cycle with it on their computer, I guess. As Simmons was at the plate, Boyer wanted to be sure that they got it out of there.
There's a swing, and he's got all of that one. It's high and deep to right field. Mercer back. Over the wall. The game is tied at 2-2. A home run over the right field wall on a strike 2 pitch. Went after Runge. He was wanting to go after Runge. Runge made a statement to Simmons as he was crossing the plate. Now, this is absolutely against any courtesy at all.
Luke, we're not sure, at least I'm not of my mind, whether Simmons might have said something to Runge as he was coming up the line. Because immediately, Runge gave the sign that Simmons was thrown out of the game. Now, it may be that Simmons triggered that himself by saying something first to Runge.
It could be.
And I think that's what happened. But Simmons has been thrown out of the game while coming up the line, scoring the game-tying run on a homer. And the whole Cardinal bench came out of that dugout en masse, but there is no fight. Now, this, of course, as we explained to you, was triggered when Simmons was catching, and he and Runge were disputing the strike calls or the calls that were not made strikes by Runge.
They're still holding Simmons back in that dugout in the tunnel. Let me tell you, 3 Cardinals grabbed a hold of Simmons, or he would have gone right after Runge when Runge said, "You're gone, out of ball game." And Simmons heard that right in front of the Cardinal dugout. Simmons is still being held back in the tunnel until he has cooled off, definitely. But if Simmons triggered that, then, of course, he deserves to be thrown out of the ball game after tying up this game.
Oddly enough, it was a strike 2 pitch. And Simmons absolutely furious with what's been going on between him and Runge. Got all of that ball. He sent it high and deep over the right field wall, just to the left of the 330-foot mark. So we've got a brand new ball game. And Dennis Lamp is not going to get his second win of the year. His 5th home run of the season. Strike 1 pitch to Hernandez. A big swing and a miss by the left-handed hitter. Strike 2. That is just that kind of action. That kind of a comeback that could trigger these Cardinals into a complete turnabout in the 78th season.
That's what it takes when a ball club is in a slump. It either has to be a great pitching performance, which it was by Denny when he broke the first losing streak of the Cardinals. And now here, Simmons in the 9th inning. And as you mentioned, Vince, with a count of 0-2, hit that home run to tie up this ball game. He didn't waste any time circling the bases.
No, he didn't.
He was thinking what he was going to say to Runge as he was circling.
The shooter now working on Hernandez, and he misses low. Ball 2, strike 2. We now have to hope for an extra inning contest. There's a swing and a miss on that flip finger fastball for strike 3. Dane Orge will be the batter. That is only the 2nd home run yielded by Suter this year. First pitch to Orge. The left-hander has a strike on him. The other one was hit by Steve Henderson of the Mets. Here's a swing and a high fly ball to Tyrus Wallace in right center. He's under it. 2 gone. That home run also came in the 9th inning of that ball game against the Mets. Just a little over a month ago at Wrigley Field. And Henderson tied up that ball game. Then the Cubs went on to win it on the heroics of Joe Wallace. Won it in the 12th. Jerry Mumphrey looks at the first pitch of strike. A lot of tension and a lot of drama here. Here's the pitch. Way inside. Ball one, strike one. Steve Swisher, former Cub, very likely is going to be the new catcher. And I'll say this hopefully. Here's a swing and a line drive. Knuckleball out to Bobby Mercer, but he stayed with it and handled it to either side. Swisher, we go to the 10th inning. I'm sure will be the new Cardinal catcher as Simmons, who led off the 9th inning with his 5th homer of the year to tie up the ball game. Drive, knuckleball out to Bobby Mercer, but he stayed with it and handled it to either side. Swisher, we go to the 10th inning. I'm sure will be the new Cardinal catcher as Simmons, who led off the 9th inning with his 5th homer of the year to tie up the ball game. Ben was thrown out by plate umpire Paul Runge as he came up the line from third base. We believe that he said something to Runge that prompted his ejection from the game. Then they had heated words, and Simmons had to be forcibly restrained by his teammates from going back out in the field after the plate umpire. In the 9th, 1 run, 1 hit. Nobody left on. The Cubs come to bat in the 10th inning at St. Louis. It's tied 2-2.
Hello, General Finance. Friendly Bob Adams speaking.
It's Steve Doorman here, Bob. You loaned me some money to get married 6 months ago.
Right, Steve. How are things working out for the newlyweds?
Just great, Bob.
Something the matter, Steve?
Well, I came home early one day last week. I caught her.
Oh, sorry to hear that, Steve.
There they were, all there, under the bed.
I'm not quite following you, Steve.
I caught her hiding the bills we've received for the last 6 months.
Still not reading you, Steve. Why don't you spell it out?
Well, she wanted to show me how far she could stretch $1, so...
Oh, she hid the bills.
Right, Bob, and now I owe...
Oh, 6 months worth of bills.
Right, Bob.
Well, dry your eyes, Steve. A consolidation loan will take care of those bills. And remember, you can always get a little help from a friend at General Finance.
Come out from under the bed, Audrey.
70 General Finance Chicago area offices to borrow up to $10,000. Call Andover 32020. Also an office in Crystal Lake.
Tony Scott is a new center fielder, and he will very likely bat in Simmons' spot with Steve Swisher, the new catcher, to hit where Mumphrey was. Mumphrey had made the last out in the 9th inning. Vince Lloyd and Lou Boudreau, and an altogether different atmosphere here at St. Louis Busch Memorial Stadium in this tense ball game now between these two good rivals. All tied at 2. Lou?
All right, Vince. Buddy Schultz on the mound. Swisher doing the catching, and Ontiveros will lead off for the Cubs in the 10th inning. 2-2 ball game. Schultz into the windup. The southpaw delivers. Fastball outside, ball 1. Reach at third, just a stride off of the foul line. He's guarding that line. The pitch. Fastball high. Ball 2. No strikes to Ontiveros. He'll be followed by Rader. And Hernandez is warming up in the bullpen for the Cubs. Here's the southpaw ball 2 pitch. High ball 3. 3-0 on the leadoff hitter. Schultz is ready. The pitch. There's a strike called, and it's 3-1. Bukovic, a right-hander, warming up for the Cardinals. And he's ready. He's been warming up for an inning. The 3-1 pitch on its way to Ontiveros is a fastball pop foul onto the screen. It's now 3-2. The Cubs were given an opportunity in the 9th inning when Schultz walked Wallace leading off the inning, but we couldn't score. He was out on an attempt at steal. Schultz is ready. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Swinging a foul out of play, back at home plate. Ontiveros guarding the line. Schultz wanting to throw that ball in the strike zone. Cubs 2, Cardinals 2. Cubs in extra innings have won 5 and have lost 2. They've won 8 one-run decisions while dropping 7. Here's the pitch. Fouled out of play. The count remains 3-2. So it's still a full count on Tavares. Now, Reach has moved back, but he's still guarding that line. But he's moved back beyond third base about 15 feet. Cardinals play on Tavares straight away and deep. Schultz looks in, gets a sign from Swisher. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Fastball, a swing, and a ground ball to shortstop. Templeton has it. Fires the first, 1 out. I think Tavares broke his back. And that ground ball to the shortstop. So after getting the count of ball 3 and no strikes, Schultz comes back and forces Tavares to ground out. Here's Rader at that. A double in the third inning when the Cubs scored their 2 runs. Rader scored on Gross's single that sent De Jesus to third, where he scored on the wild pitch by force. And then a dramatic home run in the 9th inning, leading off the inning by Simmons, has tied up this ball game. Swing and a miss. Strike 1 to Rader. 1 out, nobody on base. Philadelphia batting in the 9th inning, all tied up with Atlanta, 3-3. Houston has taken a 5-3 lead over the Mets at the end of 4. 1 strike pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 2 is Schultz is just rearing back and firing that good fastball. 2 strikes now on Rader. The windup, 0-2 pitch, into the dirt. Ball 1, strike 2. When these 2 ball clubs get together, anything can happen, and it usually does. Even though the Cardinals have been in a slump, they still have good spirit on this ball club. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 1 out, 10th inning. Schultz has a sign. The pitch on its way. Rader swings, taps that ball down to third baseman. Reach, he has it. Fires across the diamond to Hernandez, 2 out. And Reach is playing the left-hander perfectly, guarding that line, so he wouldn't poke that ball down that line for a double. Rader was surprised with Reach playing in that position. 2 outs, and we're going to get a pinch hitter for Suter. It's going to be Hector Cruz. Cruz, the former Cardinal. Now we'll back, say hello to the next Cub, former Cub, Swisher, doing the catching. Cruz is batting .210. He has 2 home runs, 5 RBI. Schultz is ready. He's into the windup. Here's the first pitch to Cruz. Swing and a miss. Strike 1. As once again, Schultz is merely rearing back and firing. He hasn't thrown anything but the fastball thus far in the 1 2/3 innings that he's worked. The pitch. Fastball and a swing and a miss. Strike 2. Cruz is batting for Suter. Cubs' new pitcher will probably be the southpaw Hernandez. Cruz has 1 more strike left. The ball is on its way. He takes it high, close, as Fisher held that ball for a second in that glove. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Cardinals play Cruz straight away. The pitch on its way. Swing and a miss. He was trying to sock the ball out of the ballpark, but he missed. Striking out. Second strikeout for Schultz. No runs, no hits. Nobody left on base, and Schultz has been perfect in 2 innings of relief. We're moving to the bottom of the 10th inning. Cubs 2, Cardinals 2. In the 10th inning, Tyson is going to pinch hit for Phillips as Hernandez is the new Cub pitcher. He's the third pitcher of the evening. He has a 3.3 earned on average. He has 3 wins, 1 defeat. This is his 18th game. He's pitched 19 and 1/3 innings, allowed 17 hits, 7 runs, all of them earned. He has walked 12 and he struck out 10. He will face Tyson, batting for Phillips. Tyson batting .282, 3 home runs, 15 RBI. Tyson's first appearance in this ball game in the bottom of the 10th inning. Hernandez looks in to get a sign. He's into the windup, and here's the pitch and a swing and a miss by Tyson. Woody Fryman, a southpaw, and Donnie Moore, a right-hander, warming up for the Cubs, just in case. Tyson will be followed by Brock, who pinched hit in the 8th inning and remained in the ball game. High inside fastball, 1-1 to count. One ball, 1 strike. Nobody out. Tyson's leading off the 10th. 2-2 ball game. The pitch. Curveball and a swing and a miss. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Cubs have 2 runs on 4 hits. Cardinals 2 runs on 8 hits. Only home run thus far, Simmons in the 9th inning to tie this ball game up 2-2. Curveball, a swing, and a ground ball foul into the Cubs dugout. De Jesus has moved over into the hole for Tyson. And now Deveris, of course, as like Wheat, guarding that third base line. Now Hernandez is ready. Here's the 1 ball, 2 strike pitch. Tap foul into the Cardinal dugout. Hernandez with a new baseball. Ready. Gets a sign. The pitch on its way. Curveball outside. Didn't break. It's 2-2. This is the 8th extra inning game for the Cubs already in this young season. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss on a high fastball. Tyson strikes out. And now here's Lou Brock, and the Cardinal fans start yelling Lou, Lou. Brock singled to left in the 8th inning. Here's the first pitch by the southpaw. It's low, ball 1. Brock with that slow stance is ready. He swings at the broken bat ground ball to Trio at second. He has it, throws to Buckner, 2 out. Hernandez just sawed off that bat handle in Lou Brock's hand. And the result was a weak ground ball to the second baseman. 2 out, so here's Templeton, who will bat right-handed against Hernandez. Batting left-handed, he has 1-for-4. 2 outs, nobody on base. So let's keep this fellow off the bases. Swinging a foul off of the glove of Rader, strike 1. Freed in the on-deck circle, so he will pinch hit for Dwyer. And hopefully in the 11th inning. Here's the pitch. Curveball popped up. Octaveras calls for it at the pitching mound. He's under it, he squeezes it, 3 out. So Hernandez comes in, does the job. No runs, no hits, nobody left on base. In that 10th inning for the Cardinals, we move to the 11th, all tied up. Cubs 2, Cardinals 2.
Heileman's Old Style, the legendary beer from God's country.
Mike
Tyson is staying into play second base after pinch hitting for Mike Phillips. Buddy Schultz finishing his warm-up tosses, and he'll be facing the top of the Cub batting order, DeJesus, Gross, Buckner, and maybe a few more, hopefully. Tied up at 2 apiece. Their first run was really a cheap one here tonight. Triple off the bat of Simmons, leading off the 7th inning, and a ball that should have been caught. Gross and Kingman going after it. No communication between them, and the ball dropped on the carpet. Then he came in to score the first run of the night on a ground ball off the bat of the first baseman. And then Simmons led off the 9th inning with a homer. And as he came up the line, that home run, he said something to plate umpire Paul Runge. The two of them had been feuding off and on all night. Runge threw him out of the ball game. But he has scored a run and driven in the other one with his own home run. And he's now out of the game. Buscher doing the catching, and there's the first pitch to be on a ball. Vaughn walked and scored on a wild pitch back in the 3rd inning. Schultz in the windup. There's a swing, a fastball fouled, back up out of play. Kids, don't forget, you can get your free Cubs T-shirt, the Cubs Fair emblem, and show everybody how much you love these 78 Cubs. 15,000 T-shirts are going to be given away to every child, 13 and under, with a fully paid ticket. Bleacher tickets are not included. Now, that's next Saturday at Wrigley Field. T-shirt day. 1 week from today, the Cubs against the Atlanta Braves. Schultz delivers a curve, swung on. Drive deep into left center field. On the dead run, go, Luke Rock, and the center fielder missed up. Bounces up against the wall. DeJesus around second. He's on his way to third. He's going to be in there with a stand-up triple to open up the 11th inning. That, my friends, gives the Cubs 13 triples in their last 7 ball games and 21 for the year. Like that Wally Phillips, go for doubles, Will. Our ball club, though, square guys, they go after 3 base hits. The only trouble is, we can't catch up to him with those doubles. That was a beauty. That for Ivan is his 3rd triple of the year, and Greg Close, who leads the Cubs in 3 base hits with 5. I believe he leads the league in triples. Going to be the batter. Boyer going out to talk to Schultz. He has nobody throwing in his bullpen. To complete our little reminder to you about T-shirt day next Saturday at Wrigley Field. For you parents who order tickets in advance, remember to use your MasterCard or Visa card and call the credit card ticket line. Why don't you write it down right now? 248-7900. That's the credit card ticket line for MasterCard or Visa card. 248-7900. The message furnished by the Chicago Cubs. Strategy being furnished to the St. Louis Cardinals by their skipper and former great third baseman Kenny Boyer. They got him out of the Baltimore Oriole organization to succeed Vern Rapp, who was highly successful as a manager for the Cardinals in the minors, but he just could not grapple the day-to-day problems of managing in the majors. But who knows, Rapp may get another whack at it one of these days and be successful. It will not be the first time that that's happened. Boyer languished for many years in the Cardinal farm system as a manager, finally gave up on it. When they hired Rapp, he figured that's the end of the line for him with St. Louis, so he went over to Baltimore, and they plucked him out of there. Now the Cardinal infield is in. Schultz working on Gross. Go-ahead run. DeJesus at third with nobody out in the 11th inning. Schultz into the stretch. Here's the pitch in Gross. Takes the fastball. It's high. Ball 1. Each club with 2 runs. The Cardinals have out-hit the Cubs 8-5. Gross stepping out for a moment to study the side of Amalfitano. Infield pull in. And if he hits one directly at any of those infielders, DeJesus is going to have to hold. It also gives him a golden opportunity to drive one past him. Here's a stretch. What a pitch. He takes it high. Ball 2. Then Floyd and Lou Boudreau reporting from Busch Memorial Stadium. A crowd tonight of 33,333 paid. Let's pause for station identification. This is the WGN Chicago Cubs Baseball Network.
This is WGN Radio, Chicago.
Here's Schultz into the stretch. 2-0 delivery to Gregg. He takes right inside corner at the belt. He was moving out of the way. He thought that ball was going to be in too close. Now the count on him goes to 2-1. Schultz working very carefully on him. But he came on in relief. The ninth inning. This is his third inning of work. Nobody in the bullpen. 2-1 delivery. Swung out of it. He went after a pitch that was out of the strike zone too high, and he knows it. Disgusted with himself. What he was hoping for, of course, to be able to get that high pitch out into the outfield to bring in that run. All right, Greg, get a hold of yourself. Still got one left. He spanned only 4 times this year in 76 at-bats, including tonight. Battled in a run with a single in the third. 2-2 pitch coming up on him with the runner at third, nobody out. He swings at a fastball that was jamming him, and he fouls it back out of play. And that Lou is really battling off the pitcher.
Yes, he's got to battle anything that he can reach now to hit that ball to the outfield and score this run. He can't leave it up to Buckner. Gross has to do it himself.
There may be 50 or 75 people who have left this ballpark tonight, but that would be about it. Nervous time in St. Louis and a close one between the Cubs and the Cards. Going down to the wire and beyond. Schultz again, 2-2 pitch. Swung on and missed. That looked like a slider. And Gross is banned for only the 5th time this year into Jesus. He is still at third base with one away. Now it is up to Buckner.
Now here's the tough situation for the runner and Amalfitano and Coach Frank, their manager Frank. He will give the sign as both men are looking in now as to whether Herman wants him to try to come in on a ground ball to the infield. With nobody out, you remain. You have to make it sure. But here on this AstroTurf, a high bouncing ball, you see, he just put up his hand high. So he said, what do you want me to do on a high bouncing ball? It's up to the runner. Here's where baseball instinct means a great deal. That base running. So all Amalfitano can tell to Jesus is if it's a high bounding ball, it's your judgment whether you can make it or not. All he has to do is be careful of a line drive.
Goodell back over the foot in the coach's box at third. Bond beginning to take a short lead at third. The batter Buckner with one away, the pitch. Look out. High inside fastball. He hit the dirt and the ball hit his bat and came back foul. Strike one count. And Buckner not very happy with that one. That was almost a pitch, Lou, where they were anticipating a squeeze.
It could have been, because that pitch looked to me was a purpose pitch.
Yeah.
And Buckner,
he was glaring at Schultz.
He hasn't too much blood in that face yet, so he's taking his time.
Buck is down over to the on-deck area. All he was doing was just putting on a little bit of a show to calm down a little bit. He picked up the towel, dabbed it on the bat just briefly. Now is walking back into the batter's box with that number 22 on the back of the blue, white pinstripe road uniform. His job to try to get the Jesus across the plate with the go-ahead run. So far tonight, he is 0 for 4. Doug the night hitting .339. 2-2 score with one out, strike one pitch. Swung on. He tried to go to the left side, and he was a little late. Fouled that one down the left field line, out of play. Sitter gave up a game-tying homer on a strike 2 pitch to Ted Simmons, leading off the 9th inning. Simmons, in remarks directed to plate umpire Paul Runge as he came up the line from third on the last leg of that homer, ejected from the ball game by Runge, and Swisher doing the catching. Customer got out under the warning track down the left field line. Time until they get him back off the playing field. And he may wind up escorted out of the ballpark. Crowd is booing that action by the usher down there. That's his job. Fans get plenty of warning about getting onto that field. The game is in progress. Now we're ready. Here's the stretch. Here's the pitch. Buckner goes after that one and fouls it back out of play. Protecting the strike zone with his cut that time. Texas leading Seattle tonight 3-2 at Texas in the bottom of the eighth. And in case you missed it earlier today, in Chicago, Oakland in 10 innings defeating the White Sox 4-3, handing the Sox their 6th straight loss. Toronto defeated the Yankees 4-1 before a huge turnout at Yankee Stadium. And Cleveland defeated Baltimore 6-2, while Boston and Jim Rice, 17th homer of the year, defeated Detroit 1-0. Here's the pitch. Goes after another high one. He's trying to get one out into left field. And he fouls it down the left field line. Number 1, Lou Brock, does not have a great arm. He figures De Jesus on anything hit out there fairly deep at all, Ivan can beat the throw by the veteran 38-year-old outfielder. Still bouncing up and down on the balls of his feet down there. Now standing flat-footed but pushing his hips from side to side. He goes through all kinds of mannerisms down there. A singular character. 0-2, the count on him. That was a bat back. Schultz into the stretch. One away, runner at third. Here it comes. Goes after another high fastball, and again he fouls it way into the seats on the third base side. There have been about 3 pitches that have been out of the strike zone high. Buck is up, letting him go. And Swisher is going out to talk to Schultz. Schultz didn't know he was on his way out there. Now they meet up in the top of the pitcher's mound. In the National League, Philadelphia and Atlanta tied 3-3 at Atlanta. Phillies at that in the top of the ninth. At Pittsburgh, it was no contest. The Montreal Expos racking up 15 runs. Pittsburgh had 1. Cincinnati and San Diego scored us in the third. Houston now leading the New York Mets 7-3. And the Dodgers today defeated San Francisco before a big turnout at San Francisco. Dodgers winning that one 3-1. Now the stretch. 0-2 pitch. Throws he's got it. Taps it on the first base side. Here comes the runner. Double pass, not in time. De Jesus scores, and he is limping. He may have been spiked as he goes limping into the Cub dugout with the go-ahead run at 3-2 Cubs, and Buckner's out at first base.
Buckner does the best of anybody I've seen throwing a bat at a ball when he's fooled on the pitch.
De Jesus may have been cut. Getting in the top step of the dugout down there. Tony Garoppolo, the Cubs trainer, who comes from St. Louis here, still has his off-season home here. Going to tend to him immediately. Mike Rourke is standing in our view of him right now, along with Ray Burris. Buckner just throwing his bat at that ball, and what he did is pop it weakly to the first base side of the mound. But not very far from the plate. Schultz came in quickly, made a little shovel pass, could not be handled by Swisher. Ball to De Jesus got there about the same time. Buckner is on at first base. Base hit for Buckner, had a run batted in, and Joe Wallace stepping in, batting right-handed, takes one high, ball 1. A guy like Buckner, Lou, can just drive a pitcher crazy, okay?
Yes, he can. He went after 2 bad pitches. Up high, fouled them off. And then Schultz got the ball where he wanted to, a low curveball, but Buck just threw the bat at the ball and gets a base hit.
Stretch in a bit. Strike call. We see De Jesus limping as he's walking in that dugout. So Mick Kelleher get up a moment ago. I think he was cut on the left leg. Looks like he got a cut on the shin bone.
Shortstops can take it. He'll be back out there. Put some tobacco juice on it and rub it in, and it'll be okay.
Oh, now they put bubblegum juice on it.
They do? Maybe that's why they don't play too often. Let it burn a little bit.
Matter of fact, right after Sitter, Here's a step and a throw to first base. Right after Sitter gave up that game-tying homer to Ted Simmons, I saw Sitter before Simmons had ever crossed the plate for one of the biggest bubbles with that gum he had, and I've seen in a long time. I guess that's one way to let out your frustrations. Runner goes. 1-1 pitch, swung on a miss. Here's the throw by Swisher. Sliding in. He's safe. Ball hits back and way over to left side. But Buckner will have to hold at second base. A stolen base for Buckner.
What did that ball hit to bounce into short left field, and nobody's rubbing?
I don't know whether it hit the corner of the bag or what it was, but it bounced high in the air, way over, way behind the normal shortstop position, and it was fielded by Brock. That for Bill Buckner, his fourth stolen base this year in 6 attempts, and he leads the ball club in stolen bases. Lyons is a pair. DeJesus has a pair, but he's been thrown out 4 times. A couple of those times, DeJesus has been picked off. So with 1 out, the count on Wallace, 1-2, and a single here would give the Cubs a big insurance run in this, the 11th inning at St. Louis. Stretch the pitch. Swung on, a half swing, and a very high fastball way up out of the strike zone, and Tarzan, who could not hold up in the swing, is out of there. The 4th strikeout victim of the night by Buddy Schultz.
You know, I don't believe I've seen Schultz any faster than what he is tonight. The way our ball club is swinging at that fastball, they're not ready, and they're going after a pitch that's around the letters, and it seems like it's rising.
Well, I tell you, if he'd been pitching like that with us, we wouldn't be in a Cardinals uniform. We'd have held on to him.
He'd be in a Cub uniform.
He used to lollipop a lot of stuff, it seems to me, with us. And there was a question a couple of years ago about his physical health. Now Mercer stepping in. Runner at second. Here's the pitch. He takes it high, ball 1. Didn't give him that good blazing fastball that time. It looked almost like a high slider. Mercer lined out against Buddy in the 9th inning. 3-2 Cubs. Cubs with 6 hits, the Cardinals with 8. There has not yet been an error officially made in this series by either ball club. The stretch, the pitch. Swung on at a high fly ball, hanging up for a long time. Brock is coming over. Lou reaches up and he grabs it in shallow left center. The Cubs are retired in the 11th inning, but it started with a triple by DeJesus. The Cubs' 13th triple in their last 7 games and their 21st of the year. And he tallied on Bill Buckner's little infield hit about 15 feet away from the plate. 1 run, 2 hits, 1 man left. Now, Willie Hernandez with a chance to pick up a victory. The Cardinals coming to bat, Cubs leading 3-2. Willie Hernandez, chance to pick up a win here tonight, and would give this young southpaw a record of 4-1. He faced the Cardinals a week ago yesterday at Wrigley Field, worked 2 innings, gave up a hit, no runs, no walks, no strikeouts. The Cubs won that ball game by a score of 6-2. Appeared in a couple games against the Phillies. He doesn't have great success against the ball club that owned his contract when the Cubs drafted him. Gary Morales batting for Jimmy Dwyer. Morales 0 for 1 as a pinch hitter this year. One-time Cub swing, first pitch, Davis to his left. He comes up with it. Here's the toss. Morales is out of there. One gone in the 11th. Morales, by the way, starting tonight, hitting only .215. Today with 3 homers, 19 runs batted in. Can he reach the batter? He's got some power. Hernandez throws that first one and let up. It's into the dirt in front of the plate for ball 1. Cubs 3 runs, 6 hits. The Cardinals, 2 runs on 8 hits. There's a swing. Another ground ball to DeJesus. There's going to be 2 away, and there are. Keep hitting him right to it. Here is Tony Scott batting for the first time tonight. Slender, young pinch hitter, and he'll bat right-handed. One of 4 switch hitters that Kenny Boyer has on his Cardinal ball club. Scott was 2 for 2 last night. Primarily a singles hitter with tremendous speed. The right-hander, he's batting .308 as a lefty, 158. It's his strong side. He swings, fouls the fastball out of play to the right. Came into play, center field in the 10th. And he is batting in size, or in the Simmons spot in the batting order. Simmons had homered to tie it in the 9th. Home run off Sitter, and then was thrown out of the ball game for a remark directed at plate umpire Runge. It's a swing, and a deep fly ball to right field is going to be caught. First is under it. Ball game is over. And listen to the cheer that goes up from the tremendous number of Cub fans who are here tonight. It would make you think you're in Wrigley Field. Cubs win in 11 innings. The final, the Chicago Cubs 3, the St. Louis Cardinals 2.
The gallant band of old, we make our buying a pleasure again.
Alice, is that a new Olds you drove up in? Please, it's a Cutlass Brougham. After that miserable winter, it was a pleasure for Harry and me to get out and buy a new car.
Car buying a pleasure? We went to see the gallant men of old. You won't believe it, but we actually enjoyed buying the car. They were so warm and friendly. I said to Harry while we were in the showroom, these guys are warm and friendly.
I love that blue.
They've got a terrific spring selection of colors and options.
Well, car buying still leaves my husband cold.
Tell him to visit an old showroom. He'll like the warm atmosphere.
Visit your Chicagoland Oldsmobile dealer today. Find out how we can make car buying a pleasure for you.
The gallant band of old, we make car buying a pleasure again. The gallant band of old, we make car buying a pleasure again. The gallant band of old.
All right, happy total as the Cubs get their 7th consecutive victory and move to a mark of 23 and 17 in the league. 3 runs, 6 hits, no errors. Now, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 left, Lou.
5 and 5.
5 and 5. 2 runs, 8 hits for the Cards. Hernandez now 4 and 1. That's Buddy Schultz's first decision of the year, a loss. Well, there are a lot of things you could talk about here. I keep thinking, Lou, they never should have scored off Dennis Slam.
No, but then again, we got the break with the wild pitch.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it all evens up.
It's supposed to all even up, but execution again, Vince. Great infield play by DeJesus and Trio. Actually, prevented a lot of base hits from getting out to the outfield. Then, of course, DeJesus coming through with that triple, and Buckner bearing down at the plate, throwing the bat at the ball to score the run. Maybe it was tainted, but it counts, and the Cubs have a victory.
It does.
And the most important stat, in my book, for a ball club to be a championship team is the 1-run decision and the extra inning decision. And consequently, this was the 9th 1-run decision for the Cubs, and the 6th extra inning victory while losing only 2. So here again, it's a very, very important stat. This ball club just keeps battling, and when they can come back without a red-hot Oliveras and a red-hot Kingman right now, we're still winning them 1 run at a time, and let's hope they could get started to win, get a few more runs in there. And I want to apologize for what I said in the 9th inning. I was watching Simmons when he went back after Runge, when I said Runge should not have mentioned anything to him, whereas you caught it up earlier before he reached the plate that Simmons was the instigator and made a comment to Runge. So, of course, that brought back the challenge and Simmons being thrown out. But let me tell you, to get thrown out in a 1-run ball game is very important. Would you rather have Simmons at bat in the 11th inning or Scott?
He had to switch around his batting order.
That's right.
And, of course, Simmons is the one real veteran in that lineup that you want to have in there. Not only for his bat, but also for his catching, the whole thing. And it has to be another bitter pill for Kenny Boyer to swallow.
Absolutely. And then when you're in a losing streak, then a veteran like Simmons would know better than that. And yet, here it is. It happens in the game. He had a triple, a home run, and a double.
He had been irritated loose so many times on calls that Runge had made while he was catching that I guess it just finally had to happen sometime.
Yes, this is true, and he and Runge was going at it, and I thought Runge was going to throw him out of the ball game before he came to bat.
Yeah.
Actually, in the ninth inning. But the ball game, as usual, when the Cardinals and Cubs get together, it has everything, and that's why you get 30, 35, and 40,000 in Chicago on weekends and also in St. Louis on weekends.
Well, it's a dandy for the Cubs. 3-2 final, and they have now beaten St. Louis 5 out of 5 so far this year. Hard to improve on that. Well, you could make it 6 out of 6. That's what they'll shoot for tomorrow afternoon. And our broadcast tonight has been brought to us by True Value Hardware Stores, and let me tell you, that's not just a name. That's their way of doing business, True Value. The G. Heilman Brewing Company of La Crosse, Wisconsin, makers of Old Style, the pure brewed beer from God's country. Boy, this is a good spot to enjoy one right now, and I hope you've got a good supply for this Memorial Day weekend. McDonald's, where you can buy a hot fudge, hot caramel, or strawberry sundae in a special reusable glass. Your Chicagoland Oldsmobile dealers, find out how the gallantment of Olds can make car buying a pleasure for you. And by General finances 70 Chicagoland offices to borrow up to $10,000. Call friendly Bob Adams at Andover 32020. Scoreboard is next. And our broadcast tomorrow, it's not going to be easy for the Cubs to sweep this series because they're going up against another very fine pitcher on this Cardinal staff, and that's John Denny. He stopped their losing streak at 11 in a row the other night when he shut out the Montreal Expos here. He's a big, rangy right-hander. And against him is going to be another big, rangy right-hander, and that is the Cubs' Ray Burris, who is due to even up for the year. He's 2-3. By the way, they put a time limit on the game tomorrow because the Cardinals have to go into New York, as I mentioned to you, for a twilight doubleheader Monday. And so, let's hope that we're not going to have one of those marathon affairs here tomorrow. They're going to have to continue it sometime later in the summer because no inning tomorrow is to start after 4:15. But that should give us plenty of time because we'll be on the air with you at 12:55, and on the network, our airtime will be 10 minutes after 1. Vince Lloyd and Lou Boudreau, Colin Jarrett, our engineer, and Jack Vinovich, our producer. In 11, the Cubs win 3-2. This is the WGN Chicago Cubs Baseball Network.
Yours to choose, and our people can tell you just what you need.
You're thinking about building a concrete patio, why not build a wood deck instead? It's more attractive and with treated lumber will last just as long. Hines has free plans for 10 different decks and all Osmos all-weather wood you'll need to make your deck last for years and years. Osmos all-weather wood is pressure treated with special chemicals to prevent rotting and decay, and it's kiln dried twice to make every blank uniform and easy to cut and stain. Pick up your free deck plans at Hines today.
Everybody, Vince Lloyd back with you at Busch Memorial Stadium, and it's time now for the scoreboard, brought to us tonight by Continental Airlines. There's no lower fare to anywhere they fly than their chicken feed fares, and there are no restrictions. This was really a honey of a ball game in so many, many ways, and of course I guess you can say that about any one-run ball game which goes into overtime. For the Cardinal fans, it was a tremendous boost for them when their hero, their veteran catcher, and a hard batter, Ted Simmons, with a count of strike 2 on him, 0-2, and the Cub ace, Bruce Sutter, on the hill, walloped a drive over the right field wall to tie up the ball game at 2-2. You would think that the momentum had suddenly switched and would go over to the Cardinals. as they have been battling, trying to come out of this slump that has hit them ever since they were out in California in the recent road trip. But they were unable to take advantage of it again. Yes, they tied it up, but that was it. Simmons was thrown out of the ball game on that homer for a remark apparently directed at plate umpire Paul Runge as he came up to the plate from third. Now, you have to remember they had been quarreling frequently on Runge's judgment of balls and strikes throughout the ball game. So it was not just one of those things that suddenly developed overnight. It had been building and building. And Simmons, a tremendous competitor, he was an outstanding athlete at the University of Michigan. In complete frustration over what's happened to this Cardinal ball club in the last 2 weeks, suddenly let his wrath explode. And the target was the plate umpire, who immediately expelled him from the game. And we just missed having ourselves a pretty good battle down here as the whole Cardinal bench erupted out of that dugout. But the Cubs then came from behind, Ivan De Jesus with a triple, and Bill Buckner with about a 15-foot single, bringing him in with one out in the 11th inning, producing the victory for the Cubs. We'll take a look at the other scores in both the American and the National League right after this message.
Fly us to Chicago for only $75. The flights are unscheduled, of course. So 2 months before you...
Fly our special Econo Night Youth Super Standby Waitlist fare. Good only February 30th and 31st. And in September on weekends.
Yes, friends. We can save you 80%. Just make your reservations in the next 10 seconds and pick up your tickets by mail. Or come in
almost anywhere for just $50. Now, that provides you detainers, and you never know. You keep one part of the reservation, but...
Continental Airlines has put an end to discount fare confusion.
If you can't fly Continental, you might as well